I don't have any intro this week, but fuck this week. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. I am your host. I'm joined by my co-host.
Okay, 2004 here.
Fuck this week. Just fuck week 4. It's all hacks. It's all bullshit. I mean, sure, the hacks died down after what, Friday? And it's taken at least weekend. It's taken at least Saturday to produce some actually decent games from you guys. And then there's the whole drama about it. Ugh. It's all annoying. But what I'm complaining more is the games. The drama, that's an entire new PSA. Because I've noticed, especially during this week, that people have started to get a little sassy. Especially the certain lot of you that I will not name, but you know who you are. Just keep the toxicity to yourselves, okay? Don't bring anything into this. Bring your negativity somewhere else, damn it. Ugh. Alright, let's get to reviewing these games, shall we? Before I blow another gasket.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to rant there because it's so annoying. It's just so annoying to freaking watch that thread and watch the Discord basically be a drama whore infested with drama whores. So annoying. Okay, starting off with the Ubers game, we have Skimmy the God versus Zoe Cafe. First off,
AKA, how the hell did we win that?
First off, we saw Eternatus defeat Gomorrah early on, while Kyogre defeated the Arceus Ground, and Koraidon defeated Alomomola with Scale Shot. Then Eternatus...
With it hitting 5 times, twice, notably.
Yeah, 5 times. Then we saw the Eternatus toxicking the Arceus, who killed it in return with E-Speed, while Terra Dark Hoa mitigated Lunala's Power Gem, but later died to Arceus.
That was Meteor Beam.
Oh, Meteor Beam. Well, it looked like Power Gem.
No, it doesn't.
I know it doesn't. But later died to Arceus after E-Speed on turn 22, itself dying to poison in the process. Then Terrafire Koraidon finished off Koraidon and Ditto, in the end, winning Skimmy this game.
Well, it kind of matters what sequence it happens in, because if it happens the other way around, Skimmy might have lost.
That's true. But in any case, Skimmy still won. Very surprising, but Skimmy still won.
Yeah, because he looked at this matchup and said, oh god, GG.
he was not confident going in, but then, things kind of happened that went his way, and it did.
Yeah, this matchup sucks.
This matchup does kind of suck for Skimmy, but still won. For credit to him, he still won with it.
Yeah, I'm not even... not gonna lie, Zoe Cafe utilized Ditto rather poorly.
Yeah, it was not the best of usage of Ditto, in my opinion.
Didn't try to make any predictions with Ditto.
Just kind of let it happen, that's what.
That ultimately gave us so many more chances that we won.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have the OU game, Maverick Shooters versus Cave. So, this game, I didn't have much notes to say, because it just kind of happened on a whim. So after both set up hazards, the first kill really didn't happen until turn 23, I believe? Yes, where Zamazenta managed to kill Clefable, while Goldango tricked the Zamazenta, sacking it later, while Terra Ground Dragonite set up and defeated the Great Tusk. Then we saw the Terra Water Garganackle come after that on turn 30, setting up the Iron Defense, setting up the Body Press, winning Mav this game.
Read the win post.
It was originally said for Mikoi. And then, he just had to do the copy pasta of, I came into the battle very unmotivated and expected to lose it. However, when I saw Cave wanted to humiliate me with the very same team that Trio used the week before to rob me, I got angry and focused on the battle hard, predicting almost every play Cave did and breaking his team with Weavile and Darkrai, even though Weavile and Darkrai were not present in the team.
Yep, he did not edit that whatsoever.
You're gonna really besmirch the good name of your Rocky boy like that? Like noting 2 mons that probably die to it? Come on. Alright, that was lazy of Mav, but not lazy was his win, so well done there.
Yep.
Next up, oh boy, the first of what the fuck. The first of what the fuck kind of games happened. Prepare for me to say what the fuck more times than you count. So we have Mikey Mon versus Hacker in a game where Mikey Mon actually played very well. It's just that there's a lot of things that could have happened very differently that may have been able to be a successful one.
Oh yeah, I wanted to forget this game.
I think everyone in the Rufflets did. Okay, it was not just you. So, we start out.
Well, I just want to specify, Mikey Mon played the beginning game kind of whack, but he came back fine.
He got better. He got better as the game went on, definitely. So we got Hacker's Ogerpon continuously chipping Mikey's Mons early on. So that was already like one of my big gripes with the game is that, it's not wise to consistently have your Mons be chipped like that. Especially, when a Mon as good as Ogerpon is out there trouncing things with Ivy Cudgel and the knockoff. But, yeah. It was not the first turn plays that were well received. But however, we saw the Ting Lu manage to survive Great Tusk's attacks and defeated it with Earthquake on turn 24. So that was well preserved there. While the aforementioned Ogerpon died to Cinderace 2 turns later with a super effective U-turn. Then we saw the Terra-Flying Dragonite came into play. However, lost to Freeze Dry Kyurem with surviving its Terra Blast right here before dying on turn 30. While Terra Fire Cinderace barely missed a kill on Petarant. Ended up recovering, while King Gambit killed the Ogerpon. Then we got this. The Cinderace managed to crit the Petarant with Cinderace's Pyro Ball on turn 37. And then King Gambit was like, screw that, got Oko critted by turn 39 with Sucker Punch. And then Petarant was left.
I think you mean it did the Oko critting.
Yeah, it did the Oko critting. It was angry. It was angry that Petarant lost to it to a crit and then a kill, so it crit Oko'd in return. So yeah, it was just Petarant versus King Gambit left, and King Gambit won. So Hacker won. Very close.
Yes, although I don't really like what it came down to.
Unfortunate. It was just unfortunate draw that it was Petarant versus King Gambit.
We were of the opinion that Terra-ing Petarant, it was Terra Dark, was probably the better play.
Oh, then yeah, why didn't you Terra Petarant instead?
I don't know. I think it was because he wanted to kill the opposing Petarant right there, and he figured if he Terra Fired, maybe it would kill.
How
But no,
unfortunate.
it did not.
How unfortunate. So yeah, that was that.
Because a Cinderace with base Dark Terrifier, well, that's pretty much just a normal stab Pyro Ball then.
Yeah, they're libero basically. So that was that. Next up, we have Yuyu, Seraph Z versus not Dragon, the Wagon, or D-Wagon. So this game, it was not the best played from your Rufflets player. Pheasantipity managed to poison Donphan with the Toxic Chain on turn 10. Basically utilizing that U-turn very well and then get poisoning it in the process with Toxic Chain. Leading to it being killed by Dwagon's Donphan, who later died to Latios. Then, after Latios killed the Pheasantipity with a Luster Purge, Meowscarada OHKOing it in return with a knockoff on turn 24. Pheasantipity Toxic Chained Dwagon's own Latios, leading to Terra Fairy Raikou killing it with a Terra Blast. And basically began to sweep the rest until Meowscarada Terra Grassed and OHKO'd with Flower Trick on turn 35, dying to Scizor the next turn for Seraph to win.
Dwagon did fairly well at the end game, but ultimately he should not have stayed in on the Thunderbolt. Or more so, he shouldn't have roosted on that second Terra Blast. Or maybe that was okay, but it's more like, you roost, now get out of there.
Just get the hell out of Dodge. Just make sure you preserve that for later. But that was not the case, unfortunately. So Raikou just won there.
Yeah, because... Oh yeah. It was also... My team was also saying that if we managed to... Oh yeah, that's what we were saying. No, it wasn't that we had to switch, no. It was that rather than roosting, we had to set up one more spike.
You think the Hazards would have done it?
Because Scizor would die if there was another spike up, I think.
You think so? Hazards would have
so.
The Hazards would have done. We would have done Scizor in.
I think so.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Well, that was that.
That's what they were saying should have been done.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, we have RU, the Franklin versus Joel, which started off with a pretty, dumb play in hindsight. We have the Terra Water Empoleon, who Terra Watered early on, tanking the Volcanian's Earth powers and Steam Eruptions. As the turn 11, we saw the Chestnut surviving a Crocodile's Gunk Shot before getting poisoned, as Volcanion ultimately killed the Chestnut and survived Mamoswine's Earthquake before OHKOing it with Steam Eruption by turn 16. Then after Volcanion died, we saw the Crocodile kill the Empoleon, boosting Moxie as Necrozma tried to stall it, Joel forfeiting 5 turns later.
Why did he Terra the Empoleon?
I think that was the question on everyone's minds, PokeArt. Why did he Terra so early on?
You take the hits. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. You can't hit the thing back, though.
Water absorb. You gotta think some of these, okay? Water absorb will just heal off Volcanion. It's immune to it. It's immune to any water attacks.
Exactly.
So that was kind of dumb. Oh well. Alright, next up, we have NU. Acid versus Dark Probs. More what the fuck shenanigans happened.
This may be the worst one this week.
It was a win for you guys, but it was a bad game. The fuck happened?
Well, how about you explain what the
Oh,
happened?
what the fuck happened is exactly what I'll explain. So, Monkey Dory was set up with the under grassy terrain, while Bronzong set itself up with a kind of a cool set. It was basically a weakness policy, calm mind, stored power. It was cool. It was kind of cool. But then you're up against...
And probably heat proof.
Probably proof as well. It wins basically against anything in Acid's team, except for the other Bronzong, which he lost to on turn 10.
Yeah, so it's a little awkward when you don't have anything that hits opposing Bronzong.
Exactly. Let's bring in Shadow Ball or something, or Body Press even. So yeah, that was kind of weak. And then we come to the bullshit. So, Grafii was set up, and it looked like doom and gloom for Acid, right?
I agree. We probably should have just close combated that thing with Flamiga while it was in instead of switching out.
Chandelure, or switching out to Chandelure.
Yes.
Yeah, though that was kind of iffy. But then, Slowbro Galar had the brilliant idea of freaking burning it with Flamethrower at turn 17. Works every time, apparently. So, then Flygon killed it after Slowbro died, while Scrafty managed to dodge a Monkey Dory's Focus Blast after it survived his freaking U-turn. Scrafty comes in after a switch, and boom! Monkey Dory freaking misses that Focus Blast on turn 25, allowing Acid to sack Flygon before killing it with Bronzong. Well, that's not all. That's not all from the bullshit. Oh boy. We have the Scrafty here, who Terra Poisoned, setting up to beat the DNC. So that was one. But turn 40, we saw the Decidueye Hisui crit with triple arrows and flinch this motherfucking Scrafty, which led to Acid freaking sacking the Chandelure, which is something that I wasn't.
I'm sorry. Did you say flinch, or did you say crit flinch defense drop?
Crit flinch defense drop. It basically got all best of both axes right there.
I think you mean it triggered every secondary effect that Triple
possible.
Arrows has.
Yeah.
At once.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, so it switched out Scrafty to sack Chandelure, which I wasn't a fan of at the time. I wasn't a fan of because Chandelure can easily just fire blast this thing and kill it. So,
this Decidueye, you mean?
Yeah.
But it's Sucker Punch.
That's true. But it was, yeah, right. But, Scrafty, at least Scrafty outsped this motherfucker because it rested, very well, then survived a Terra Dark Sucker Punch at the end to beat it with Drain Punch. Why? Why this game exists? It boggles me. No, that is not absolute cinema. You're lying if it is.
No, Mikoi, the BS is why it's absolute cinema. Not for the players, but for the audience.
No. Well, I was angry. I left angry. Well, technically, I was pretty angry around that time, but still, that game just kind of blew my gasket a little bit. So I went into it a little more annoyed than usual. I went to the rest of the week feeling a lot grumpier because of all the bullshit that happened, but also, the games themselves were not very fun to watch.
They're funner to watch when they're live and it's your team playing.
Well, that's on you, but as a spectator, it fucking annoyed me.
It's also fun when you get to yell in the game discussion.
Anyway, a PU. We have Wesh Papillon versus Druid.
Oh yeah, no, I remember this now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you.
Matchup just kind of sucked.
Yeah, the matchup was pretty bad. So we started off with the Silk Trap Smeargle. That was really unique. I kind of like that. And then, it paralyzed the Sandslash-Alola. However, Typhlosion was sacked to the double shock Pomot at turn 9. While Smeargle came back.
You should not have done that.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. Because Typhlosion would have done absolutely wonders here. So we have well, except for Milotic, but yeah, you get what I mean. But, Smeargle came back to set up webs, and Brute Bonnet killed the Palisand. Very haphazard there on turn 16. Then Braviary set up against Goodra, defeating it by turn 22, losing to Articuno Galar. Actually, got up the Defiant boost from Gooey, which was very fun. It was very fun to see Braviary getting off the Gooey boost by just, facing it and then defeating it.
Especially that happening while webs were up.
That's true. So,
yeah, we were thinking we had a shot there.
So Milotic, though, phased it out along with Frostmoth. And then we saw this battle here. The Terra Fairy Espeon versus the Terra Steel Articuno Galar. So both were setting up very nicely. But the writing was on the wall by that point for Espeon because of the fact that Articuno Galar was Terra Steel. And the fact that Espeon couldn't really do damage back because it had Alluring Voice and Star Power as its attacking moves. So yeah, Articuno just kind of maimed this entire team. Just kind of maimed it all.
Well, there's also the fact that the Articuno was faster.
Yeah, it doesn't get affected by the webs at all.
No, it was just faster.
That too. Oh, that's right. Boots also existed. It couldn't really. It couldn't be affected either way because it's Boots. You're right.
Anyways, there was also the fact that the Articuno had Psyshock, so it's not. So, unfortunately, Espeon can't really compete in terms of setting up and doing damage when there's a move dealing damage based on physical.
Yep. So it was basically a lost cause there. Articuno Galar just won over Pap, so I feel bad. Alright.
Yeah, pretty much, because that thing outsped the Braviary too.
Yeah.
Which, well...
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Alright, next up we have LC. Piyush versus Loki Fan, and my god.
I think this was the best game of our week, to be honest.
You guys really... Loki Fan has had a pretty...
That was doubles, to be honest.
Oh, look, you guys just beat up poor Loki Fan. Like, the guy's having a rough BLT. So, here we go. The game itself wasn't very long, I think. I didn't really have any notes here. So, Mienfu nearly killed the Vullaby on turn 3 with that close combat, costing both Mons, because Vullaby did a Brave Bird. Mudbray...
Yeah, a little confused as to why it's not high jump kick, but you know what? Peter just got unlucky most of the tour, so maybe he just said, I don't want to miss high jump kicks.
I'd rather play it safe.
Close combat it is.
I'd rather play it safe.
But Miko, I think there's something you forget you're not mentioning here.
What? It's only 3 turns. What did I forget?
The opposing Mienfu used Fake Out. Mienfu used Knockoff. What's missing here?
It's not flinching. It's Inner Focus Mienfu. What?
It's Inner Focus Swords Dance Mienfu.
Oh, you're right. That's interesting. Okay. I'll buy into it.
Actually, let me take a look at the team just to.
I hope it's an intentional thing and not an unintentional thing, because if it's an unintentional thing, I would have laughed.
Oh my God! I just saw the 4th move. This set's wild.
So it's Inner Focus, Fake Out, Sword Stance, Close Combat, and
I won't reveal it.
Okay. So we saw turn 4 here, where we saw the Diglett crit the Mudbray with an Earthquake. Mudbray, though, surviving. Credit to Mudbray, though. Managed to survive most of Diglett Alola's attacks before killing it with Close Combat. So then we saw the Alola Sandshrew come in, Rapid Spinning to remove hazards and kill Mudbray all at once, Swords Dancing, and Terra Fairying, sweeping everything in Loki's team, including a mind-boggling... Well, okay, not really mind-boggling because I kind of get it. It's the turn 11. It's the Terra-Flying Chinchou, which, you know, Loki Fan was predicting an Earthquake. Makes sense. When to use Triple Axle. What a mad lad. Also critting it.
That did not matter.
I know it didn't. But, like, it's funny. Yeah, Piyush just swept again with the second appearance of the Terra Fairy Safety Goggles Sandshrew Alola. Well, yeah, that was that. That was LC. Piyush, again, proving why he is the most versatile man outside of trade. And others. So, we have... next up, we have Monotype.
Oh, no.
I don't like looking back on this game either, PokeArt, because this game... My God. Can Maroon please stop getting bullcrapped by type disadvantage? This is the 4th week in a row where Maroon
At least it wasn't 5 weeks in a row. Instead, in the 5th week, he got bullcrapped by something else.
We'll talk about that later, but, you know, can we... I'm glad. I'm glad that the streak is over for Maroon getting bullcrapped 4 to 5 weeks in a row with for friggin' hacks and whatnot. But it's even more evident here when you consider this game was dog crap. Japo versus Rio Vidal in Monotype. Fighting versus Ghost. Already bad enough.
Yeah.
So,
Ghost with the Flutter main at that.
So, the Dragapult first burned the Iron Hands. That was already bad enough. Ceruledge was sacked to let Fluttermane come in and crit kill the Great Tusk on turn 10. Already.
With Moonblast?
With Moonblast.
Then as if that mattered to a Great Tusk.
I'm aware, but it's still a crit kill. I call it when I see it. And then, of course, we saw turn 14. We saw the match of Gotcha miss, but that that doesn't matter in the slightest. But it burned the Scrafty on the second attempt. So that was meh. So we have Urshifu coming in to kill the Goldango with Surging Strikes. But then, after Scrafty died, turn 24, we saw the Iron Valiant crit kill the Flutter main on turn 24. And then Sneasler survived Spectrier Shadow Balls before losing to Sinistra, even getting a Spadef drop while we're doing it. And then Urshifu was left to tank, Sinistra to tank its Ice Punches before killing it in the end for Japo to win.
I think we kind of just maybe won if we attacked with Sneasler instead of Swords Dancing that turn. I remember Battle Chat being like, "Chat, why did we Swords Dance?"
I know, right? Like, it's a curious play from Maroon. Did he ever explain it?
No, I think he said he acknowledges that was wrong.
Right.
But he says that he should have Swords Danced in front of the Spectrier.
That's right.
He won if he did, but because if it somehow lives the Shadow Ball, which it somehow did, it gets the Swords Dance. Now it has Unburden activated, and it kills the Spectrier. And then it's probably boosted enough to kill the Sinistra with acrobatics if it has that.
Oh, which it likely has. So yeah. Bad.
Or if not acrobatics, something else. Like, I don't know, throat chop, yeah.
Gong shot. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, bad loss there for Maroon.
Also, Maroon, Rio Vidal lost anyways if the Spectrier was Will-O-Wisp. Just saying.
Yeah, which is probably the case as well, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It had Shadow Ball, not Hex, so it was not Will-O-Wisp.
Fair enough. Alright, next up we have double...
That's why Maroon was saying that to straight up attack it was probably wrong.
Alright, well, next up is doubles OU. Where we saw Louisin versus Big Warrior 19. Whoa, this game was rough for Pig Warrior. So, we have the Terra Psychic Iron Crown plus Indeedee support, which did very good damage, Okoing the Tornadus, and brought Landorus down to Sash. As Incineroar...
Because, yes, we are using a Sash Lando.
And
that was a great call.
But Pig Warrior saw the Sash Lando, and Incineroar used Fake Out. Psychic Terrain doesn't affect Pokemon, immune to ground, and Landorus died. And Qianpao ultimately also killed...
It's not Pokemon immune to ground, it's Pokemon that are, off the ground. Actually, I guess that's sort of the same thing.
It's the same thing, Pokemon.
Yeah, that usually coincides, yeah.
Yeah, so Qianpao killed the Iron Crown. Then we saw the Iron Hand set up the Swords Dance, only to be spored by Amoonguss, removing its boosts with the Clear Smog, while the Dragon Knight, Dragon Danced, and Indeedee set up the Reflect. That's the test of how much Dragonite is able to hit under Reflect. Also, that Psychic...
Well, it was not just the sheer power of the Dragonite.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dragonite plus Qianpao, aka Sword of Ruin.
Sword of Ruin, yeah. Also, I like how the Amoonguss tanked those Indeedee Psychics even after redirecting itself with Rage Powder. That was neat. It was a good sack from Louisin. Well, Iron Hands died to the Terra Fairy Dragonite who had Stomping Tantrum. Under Reflect.
Like I said, Sword of Ruin and Dragonite being at +3 right now.
So yeah, we saw the Ninetales setting up the Aurora Veil, while Dragonite killed the Kyurem with Scale Shot, who was Big Warrior's last resort. They were...
Yeah, I remember at the time I was worried he would Terra Kyurem, but then I remembered, wait, he Terra'd already.
He did Terra, the Iron Crown, earlier.
Whoopsies.
So yeah, the Dragonite ultimately won, and Big Warrior had to forfeit.
Yeah, not gonna lie, Luisan cooked this week.
Finally, am I right?
Finally?
Well,
come on, it's not as though Luisan didn't cook in other weeks.
But he got
friggin' hacked. Luisan's been getting unlucky.
But he got friggin' hacked, so finally we got an actual, clean game from him, where he actually, dominated.
Yeah.
Good. Finally. So people need to be reminded that Luisan is good. There you go.
Hopefully we'll continue to be reminded of that fact this week as well.
Alright, next up we have...
Luisan's cooking too.
Alright, next up we have Randabats. MG defeating Drizzle in 2. Quick as a cat. MG-nious. So, game 1, you saw the camera up, Okoing the Spidops, so Spidops didn't even manage to set webs, or do what Spidops usually do. Burning the Mudsdale, then on turn 2, while chipping Torkoal under Sun, only to die to it with the not the Rapid Spin, but the Lava Plume. Then Zamazenta subbed, while Duraludon Terra-Fighting, and chipped Zamazenta before being killed by its Body Press. Then, we saw the Furret defeat the Mudsdale. However, Glalie disabled its Double Edge, leading to Houndstone, eventually killed by Torkoal, before Furret killed it in return, nearly killing the Sawsbuck on turn 23, to only die to it. Then, Jolteon just kind of cleaned the rest of the Mons, because Sawsbuck and Glalie were both in red.
I think Glalie was in yellow, but yes.
Jolteon still cleaned it. Game 2 saw another usage of the Houndstone, but, however, it was on MG side, because Houndstone lost the item early, but managed to kill the Dugong with a nasty body press, while Jolteon set up to beat the Ampharos, as Keldeo missed the Hydro Pump on turn 11 to the Rillaboom, as Armarouge went back and came back after being switched out to beat the Ogerpon and the Magcargo. Then we saw the Keldeo miss another Hydro Pump attempt on turn 15, while Noctowl set up and Terra Grounded to block off Jolteon's Thunderbolt, defeating it, and setting up Nasty Plot, winning against basically the Jolteon and the Fortress for MG to win. Any other thoughts?
I do think you need to work on the order in which you say things, because that's a little off.
What did I order wrong this time? The Ogerpon and
it set up
Magcargo?
Nasty Plot and then defeated Jolteon.
Oh, you mean the late game? You Terra Grounded first.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But then it Nasty Plot to defeat Jolteon.
Okay, well, that's that. Well, that's that. Well done, M Genius, for winning. Next up, we have National Dex, where Rahul's impressive Nat Dex streak comes to an end in the hands of your boy, Tempo de Anguria.
Was there ever any doubt?
Ouch. Rahul's been doing pretty good, I think, in National Dex. Don't undermine his wins.
Yeah, but
Tempo's good.
do you undermine Tempo?
No, not really. Well, Tempo's been doing better. Well, after this game, I certainly think Tempo's doing a lot better than, I usually get him credit for. Because, at the C of the National Dex pool, which is actually, very good, you have guys like Silu and Rahul being the top players there with the best records. Then you got Adrian and then Tempo joining the ranks as some of the better players in that. So we have Rahul versus Tempo. So first off, we saw one of the big boy hacks that happened. We have the Kyurem freezing the Moltres, thawing out.
Yeah, for one turn.
Thawing out immediately as it subbed up, while Heatran poisoned the Garchomp on turn 13. Managing to catch that little switch in from Heatran, which was very nice. Who used Dragonium Z to attack Scizor, chip it a lot, doing a lot while it was in its pre-mega stage before it actually mega'd. After Garchomp died, though, we saw the Toxapex poison the Tapu Koko, while Heatran Toxic Moltres later at turn 42. There was also an Ogerpon Toxic that I didn't highlight, but it happened.
Wasn't Ogerpon poisoned too?
Not till later. So, turn 42, we saw the Moltres getting toxic by the Heatran, which then killed Tapu Koko with Magma Storm. Ogerpon set up the Swords Dance while being toxic to defeat Scizor, Mega, and Kyurem before dying to poison. There, I fixed it.
Yes.
So, turn 49, we saw the Terapagos toxic by the Heatran, and then defeated it later until Rahul forfeited. So, good stuff all around, I guess. Good for Tempo. Good for Tempo for winning.
Just a question, do Terapagos normally not run anything that hits Heatran?
I don't think so. I don't think it carries Earth Power or, something of the sort.
Dang, I thought they do.
Makes Heatran kind of one of the best walls for Terapagos, in all honesty. Alright, next up we have Jubilife Jirachi tying the Pillsbury Fido boys. Okay, first off we have the first game that actually happened for this series. Ice Master versus Ainscrad, the two Absols.
That was the first game of the week.
Yeah, the first game was the first week, and the battle between two Absol bros, who really should friggin' form a team, make the Absolute Absol posters, make it an actual thing for come BLT 13. Absolute Absol posters will dominate. They'll be the new Snorlaxes. Okay, so we have, of course, the first few turns where we saw the Arceus Ground beating the Gliscor with an Ice Beam, while Landorus was burned by the Will-O-Wisp. And then we saw the turn 18, where we saw the, after not a lot of things happening, we saw the Zacian Terra Electric on turn 18 beating the Dondozo, actually ending that man. I don't know. Ice Master's team, it is a bit bulky. It is a bit bulkier than what I've seen from past Ice Master teams, but if it works, it works. Zacian then sacked itself against Tyranitar whilst being set up, I know it's to kill it with Wild Charge at turn 24, but, you know, it actually managed to survive. The Tyranitar actually managed to survive and rest up as the Koraidon Swords Dance to defeat it with a, what was it? An Iron Head. It's an Iron Head. Yeah. Crit killing as well the Arceus Fairy on turn 30.
That was not an Arceus Fairy.
It was a Terra Fairy Arceus normal. And swept the Ho-Oh until Ice forfeited on the very next turn.
Once Dondozo died, it was kinda doomed for Ice.
Yeah, you know, Ice Master had to rely on his bulky boys a lot. And with Gliscor immediately dying, then Dondozo immediately dying, like, it was kind of over.
Yeah, but, like, without Dondozo, there's just nothing to stop Koraidon, and hell, that doesn't even really stop it on its own.
No, it does not. I still like turn 24. How managed to Zacian freaking Wild Charge, kill it, and then Tyranitar rested it all off. Like tanking like it was nothing. Basically. Alright, next up we have the OU game. I'm happy the Tenebrosite won against Stariel. The way he won it was interesting. Okay? It was interesting. Stariel brought a Sun team. OU Sun team. Against Tenebrosite.
Which is kind of odd for Surreal, but yes.
Tenebrosite brought something a little bit more standard, a little bit more balanced. So, the Walking Wake crit killed the Ogerpon on turn 8. That was already like, what? But then, we saw turn 16, the Terra Fairy Blaziken survive a headlong rush to defeat Great Tusk with Overheat, even chipping Dragonite with a Terra Blast before dying to it. Then Terra Water Garganacl stalled, forcing Hatren to Healing Wish on turn 28 to heal the Great Tusk, while Iron Moth failed to kill it with Solar Beam before dying to Salt Cure. Then Damazenta finished off the Ninetales for Tenebrosite to win. Any other thoughts?
Well, Stereel's matchup was a bit tough, I think, because, well, I think I remember thinking that, it was over once Scarge Terra'd.
Because, yeah, well, because Iron Moth ain't gonna do jack. Its solar beams aren't really built for killing Garganacl.
And Sun is kind of limited.
Yeah, and the fact that that Sun was kind of limited, because Ninetales isn't... I know Ninetales is effervescent all throughout this game, but, like, it's really not a good time to switch in Ninetales anyway to set up the Sun, because Garganacl will always still manage to Salt Cure. So, yeah. It was kind of But that's that. Next up...
Usually I think Bulk will tend to win versus, offenses like that. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Bulk will tend...
I don't know, I just looked at both teams and I'm like, I think Tenebrosite has the better one here.
Yeah. Bulk will always win against, like, kind of a niche Sun team 99% of the time. It's just how you do it.
I don't think that's accurate.
Well, most of the time. So, here we go. Next up, the next OU game. The Trio is Broken versus Pixel Bob. The Trio is Broken should really bring a Doug Trio to one of these games.
I don't think so.
He needs to prove why exactly the trio is broken, okay?
It's broken in earlier gens, but not Gen 9, okay?
Because we already have the superior ass ground types. Name like 3. So, we have another bullshit what the fuck moment. We saw the Ogerpon crit O-code the Moltres on turn 3 with Ivy Cudgel. Then we saw Enamorous getting sacked to have Great Tusk beat the Iron Shreds on turn 17. Then managed to crit kill the Garganackle the very next turn. Oh god. So then we saw the Zamazenta setup and swept everything with body press, even tanking the friggin' King Gambit. And yeah, the trio just won off of that. Alright, so next up, wow, how convenient, the very next game that we're going to talk about. Yuyu, Hacks Lolo versus Taking Notes Kinda. Oh god, this game. Okay. So, we saw both set up rocks. Deoxys Speed then killed the Terrakion with superpower, while Revavroom managed to set up an O-Coit in return with Dunk Shot, and I think that should already set the indicator for what's to come. Dunk Shot actually hitting. And then, turn 9, we saw the Scizor Terra Fire to beat it in return before Breloom killed it with a Bullet Punch. And then, turn 13, we saw the Iron Jugulus miss a Hurricane to Greninja, who killed it with Ice Beam, who even survived a Terra Normal Entei's E-Speed before beating it with Surf dying to its life orb. And then we saw the Tornadus and Thundurus battle, which Thundurus won, beating Tornadus with a Thunderbolt, winning against Taking Notes kinda.
DNK would win without the misses.
He really could have won without the misses, which is very sad. Very, very sad in hindsight. Next up is if the bullshit just started, oh, it gets even worse. It gets even worse. We saw Eevee defeat Stories, putting Stories in a 0-4 scenario. Oh my god, this game was bad. So, we have Stories Slowbro, which managed to poison Eevees. Okay. Then we saw turn 12 where Slowbro managed to kill...
Poison?
Or paralyze. Paralyze the Slowbro.
Yeah.
Before freaking Slowbro, turn 12, we saw the paralyzed Slowbro crit kill the Hippowdon early on. Stories FML, that is true. You know what?
I was wondering if that mattered, but considering the reaction, I'm sure it did.
I'm pretty sure it might have. Stories counteracted. He tried counteracted by beating Jirachi with Future Sight and Noivern's Draco Meteor, so credit to him. Her. Then we saw the Terra Dragon Rhyperior. After a lot of crap turns that happened, we saw the Terra Dragon Rhyperior come in on turn 36, defeating the Noivern with the Stone Edge. That was good. Salamence managed to set up the Dragon Dance to Facade Amoonguss. Facade Salamence. Is that Terra Normal by any chance?
No idea.
If it was, then I gotta commend Eevee. Then defeated it before losing to Slitherwing. Then after and again there's another nasty crit right there, turn 49. The friggin' crit to Slowbro. Rhyperior was then burned.
There was another crit.
Much later.
I was going to say earlier.
Oh, which
that
turn?
I didn't hear mention of. Turn 24.
Turn 24. What crit was that? The U-turn crit. Well, okay. He could switch out, theoretically. He still could have switched out entirely. And heal off that crit. So, I didn't count it.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. Turn 57. Where things went even more wrong for, actually, it went wrong for Eevee a little, because the Slowbro managed to burn off the Rhyperior with Scald, killing it afterwards with Bisharp, leaving Terrifier Bisharp to get critted by Zapdos Galar at turn 60, and dying to Eevee's own Bisharp, winning Eevee this game. 3 Mons dead to crits, says Stories. How could you be more unlucky than that?
Well, you could,
I know there's other examples.
Icy Penguin or 5'5".
Yeah. We'll get to that fucking train wreck of a game later. So, next up we have...
Wait, I just want to say, very real chance that Stories won that game without the crit on Bisharp.
Right. I agree.
Yep.
So, next up is the last game to have happened this week. How fitting. We've started with the Fidos versus Jirachi's match, and then we ended off with the Fidos versus Jirachi's match. So the last game of the week went to NU, but, well, technically a game didn't happen. We'll get to it. The NU game we saw was Enzo Nana versus Shinjaneer. Ignore the chat because it was cringe. So, Slowbro Galar survived an Overquill's throat chop by turn 10 to...
That was a very offensive Overquill or a very non-defensive Slowbro, because, 94?
94. And it's life orb, so... Yeah, that's a very attacky...
I don't know if I've ever seen a Slowbro take that much from a physical hit.
And I've never seen Overquill deal so much damage with a life orb before, so yeah. It was both ways.
Oh, I have, just not to a mon as bulky as a Slowbro.
So, killing it with Flamethrower, so Overquill died to a Flamethrower shortly after. Swampert survived a knockoff from Heracross, who died to its Rocky Helmet on turn 17. Then we saw the Bramblegast, who defeated Bronzong, while Whimsicott mementoed to no avail. That Whimsicott basically died for nothing, because Bramblegast had Clear Amulet. Turn 26. It was really funny.
Yep.
And then losing Kilowattrel shortly after, and then Terrawater Diancie came in to defeat Bruxish, winning the game for Shinjaneer.
I guess Clear Amulet on Bramblegast is for Incineroars that try to intimidate it?
That could also be the case, yeah. But yeah, it was just really funny seeing it, being used against the Memento Whimsicott, so... Yeah. Anyway, next up we have... Oh god, PU! Blood Ace versus what was supposed to be
Eternal Ocean or Esteban, whatever.
Esteban. It was supposed to be Esteban versus Blood Ace, but it ended subbing out and in favor of Zozuawa, who defeated Blood Ace. So, Typhlosion early on burned the Rhydon and then crit killed it with Infernal Parade on turn 3. I've seen Infernal Parade like very, very limitedly, but does it really? Man, did that matter?
Of course it did.
Okay. I was just checking.
See,
because...
Infernal Parade is like Hex plus Will-O-Wisp, or not Will-O-Wisp, Hex plus Scald maybe. What's the burn chances with that?
I have no idea. You want to check that?
Oh, it's Scald. So it's like Scald plus Hex.
Scald plus Hex. That mattered. Thank you for clarifying that mattered. So
yeah, it may have been like 120 power, but yeah, I don't think that'd kill.
Yeah. So then we saw the Slowbro Terra Water to nearly kill the Typhlosion with its own surf, doing 91% damage to it, while Quillfish O-code the Decidueye Hisui, which is really funny. Turn 10. Bloody said should have known. Yeah, what would you think? What would you think this Quillfish is gonna do? Not attack the freaking Decidueye?
He might have been expecting like Barbarage or something.
Barbarage or Toxic Spikes. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Turn 13, we saw the Quillfish poisoning the Slowbro, dying later to Typhlosion, who chipped Tatsugiri before dying to it. Even Tatsugiri got fully parad once. Well, actually, no, it wasn't friggin' Tatsugiri. It was...
Yeah, wasn't that Zoroark?
It was Zoroark. It was Zoroark who got paralyzed to Frostmoth's Stun Spore. Got fully parad once. And then you saw the Terra Poison Rhydon come in to beat the rest for Zuzawa to win.
I don't get some of the plays there.
Really?
From Blood Ace, yes. Why did Blood Ace U-turn there?
Against what? The Frostmoth?
Against Typhlosion.
Turn what?
Turn 15.
Yeah, I don't know. Why he couldn't have surfed instead of U-turned there? I have no idea.
That's a Zoroark, Mikoi.
I just forget. Dark Pulsed.
That's a physical Zoroark, Mikoi. I wonder if it was possibly expecting a switch, but like you don't need to preserve that. You don't need to preserve Typhlosion when it's that low, and well, look at what you have in the back. Typhlosion isn't needed here.
Really wasn't.
Instead, you allowed it to do more damage than it should have.
Really wasn't, no.
You allowed it to get rid of half of Tatsugiri's health, which that was pretty damn bad.
It really was pretty damn bad, and really could have really costly too.
I don't know if it changed the game's result, but like you turning there instead of just going for it, I have to wonder, did you turn kill on a roll?
Probably. It's frail after all.
Because it's weird. It's a weird thing to do if it doesn't, unless you're predicting a switch.
It's a weird play, definitely. And if he just went for it, he could have had a better out.
I think the problem is if he does go for it, I'm pretty sure that's a choice Zoroark. So
Yeah,
something comes in for free. Basically, Hariyama comes in for free, and then that's not good.
Right. Alright. Next up, we have... Oh, man. Black Knight Gawain versus Greedy EB in LC.
I told you.
But why was this game what it is? It all came down to just one misplay, and then it was already like, you know, harsher in hindsight with this thing. Turn 6 from this LC game. Torchic friggin' trying to burn twice. He clicked Will-O-Wisp twice. Now I get trying to predict like a hard going hard switching into a physical attack, or maybe say Trapinch, or maybe even Mienfoo. But like, is it not the best option to just go straight for a Fire Blast or something?
Yeah.
Like, you have a pretty good out. You outspeed the mans. You have +1 speed from Speed Boost. Just go for it. What's the harm?
Yeah, like you just said, Fire Blast or Terra Blast there. Unless I wonder, what was he trying to catch? Mienfoo?
Mienfoo, probably.
Mienfoo doesn't want to come in and take a Fire Blast like that.
Same with a burn, or maybe that was his intention. But yeah, it cost him his Torchic.
Although Gawain staying in 2 turns on that was also surprising, but he said he didn't mind the trade.
Which is fair. Then we saw the Fungus coming back in to poison the Elekid. Well, Greedy's poisoning Gawain's Elekid on turn 21, while Alola Diglett died to Trapinch on a Ironhead not flinchy boy. Then we saw turn 24, where we saw the Mienfoo miss the high jump kick. And yes, Greedy did win the Fungus Wars against Gawain's on turn 32. We managed to kill it, outspeed it, and kill it. Then Trapinch...
Well, you see, that's a Fungus without an Aviolite, so that's not too shocking.
That's not too shocking, yeah. Well, then we saw the Trapinch defeat the Glimmet before chipping the Mienfoo to die to it. Then we saw the Terra Ghost Lullaby set up, costing the Mienfoo on turn 40, and killing it, and Fungus eventually to win Gawain this game.
I see why they benched Greedy this week.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the man. I think we genuinely cursed him after week 1 recap.
Yeah, that may be.
That may be the cause. Alright, next up we have Monotype, Jack Guzzler losing to Royal Reloaded, which was already on last week's video, if you want to go check that out. And we did manage to cover the game substantially in full. So, we're going to move on now to the doubles game between Sir Volt Mike and Sea Life.
Oh.
Bullshit. Some more bullshit happened with this one. Well, it wasn't much bullshit as other games that we'll get to, but this one was pretty bad. So Tornadus, we saw it set up the sun, activating the Raging Bolt's photosynthesis, and Raging Bolt actually getting to use Weather Ball on Goldengo, which is a really cool tech. I liked it. However, it got Spadef dropped by Glamora on turn 3, which is bad. And then Glamora just kind of died to its Draco Meteor later on turn 5. Then we saw Tornadus defeat the Incineroar, and after Raging Bolt died, Goldengo tried Terra Dragoning and Nasty Plotted. Before turn 9, we saw Sea Life lose to Timer.
Yeah, apparently it's a glitch of some sort.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Where if you have 5 seconds or less left and you cancel, it just auto times you out or something.
That's odd. That's a very odd glitch to have happened, but it's a very unfortunate one to have happened to Sea Life. You could have, maybe, if it doesn't happen, would you say Sea Life would have won?
He was in a very good position when he timed out.
Yeah, he had the Goldengo, Terra Dragon, he had the Nasty Plot. He wasn't a real, he
could have had the Tailwind up too.
He had Tornadus, that's right. And Goldengo would have just wrecked shop, defeating the Iron Crown, defeating the Ogrepon, and then taking care of Indeedee and Diancie when needed. Yeah.
Something like that, maybe. I don't think it'd be that cut and dry, but he was in a very good spot there.
Alright, next up we have Losco versus Dunox in Ranbats. Wow. I'm glad Losco no Shuto is having a good BLT. But at the expense of being called very, very lucky.
Well, you see, there might be a reason for that. I said there might be a reason why he's getting called very lucky.
It is a high price to have been paid, but you know what? If he's gonna take one, he's gonna win one, okay? He's on the streak he is now. Yes, he is very lucky, but he's on a hot streak right now. So game 1 from this Rand series, we saw, first of all, at turn 7, where we saw the Dusknoir surviving a Dragalge's Draco Meteor, beating it with Poltergeist after the fact. While on turn 14, we saw the Rhyperior surviving an Ice-Q's Liquidation, activating its weakness policy. Okoing Ice-Q back with Earthquake. Then Terra bugged against Hitmonlee, Okoing it with Earthquake. That's a nice sequence that Losco did. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. 2 kills right there.
Towards the end, we saw the Rayquaza, who set up the Dragon Dance, while Garganacl Terra ghosted and defeated it with Salt Cure at turn 20. Losing to Toucannon, while Venomoth put Basculegion to sleep, and Altaria managed to set up the Dragon Dance to beat the Rhyperior, and then Toucannon just burned it with friggin' Beak Blast on turn 27. But it didn't matter because Altaria had Natural Cure, meaning it got rid of that burn. So Viper then set up...
Well, it mattered a little because it forced Dunox to switch out.
Yeah, well, he had the Venomoth in the back, and it was setting up against Viper, who set up the Trailblaze and Swords Dance, defeating it while crit killing Altaria at the end with Gunk Shot to win Losco Game 1. Any other thoughts?
Only that the crit probably didn't matter in the game's result, I don't know. But I do wonder something.
What?
Could Dunox have won if instead of Sludge Waving, he went for another Quiver Dance?
Probably. I mean, what's a Venomoth gonna do?
Mm,
I don't know.
I want to say probably not, but
I don't know. What would Venomoth even have? Bug Buzz, Sludge Wave, and then something else.
well, that's
Blast.
literally what it has in terms of attacks: Bug Buzz and Sludge Wave.
Probably Terra Blast is that fourth move. But yeah.
Or that. I don't know. But yeah, did not Terra? Yeah, he did. So it didn't matter if it was Terra Blast or not.
Terra ghosted the
yeah, I don't think Quiver Dancing there would have won the game, because I don't think +2 would have been enough to kill from like full.
Alright.
It did a lot with +1, but I don't think +2 would have been quite enough.
Okay. Then we saw Game 2, where Plusle defeated Palkia with Alluring Voice early. Yeah. Those words can never be spoken unless it's Ranbat. A Plusle beating a Palkia.
Yep.
So, Vikavolt managed to set up webs before dying to Tauros' Body Slam, leading to Malamar killing Necrozma Wings with Knockoff in a very speed-focused way. It was turn 6 or 7.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Then Malamar Terra-Steeled against the Articunos, Galar's Hurricanes, and rested, defeating it, and setting up the superpower before Blastoise Shell Smash and defeated Heatran on a switch-in, before missing a Hydro Pump on turn 16 against Girafarig, losing to its Psyshock. Then we saw the Terraground Frostmoth Quiver Dance Okoing the Malamar on turn 17. Before losing to Hitmontop, who hit all of its triple axles. Who died to Tauros, who died to Girafarig at the end for Losco to win.
I wonder if Hydro Pump would have killed Girafarig.
At full?
I mean, that was +2 Torrent.
Oh yeah, well, Girafarig also had Eviolite.
Well, yeah, but +2 Torrent.
But also Eviolite Girafarig, which Girafarig's special defense...
+2 Torrent.
Which Girafarig's special defense is actually pretty good with Eviolite.
So, yeah, it didn't kill, actually.
It does survive.
It does 78 to 92, basically.
Well, would have been enough for Tauros, at least, to kill it with Body Slam later.
Indeed.
But unfortunately, that would be the case, and Losco would be with a very healthy Giraffe to win. Alright, next up we have National Dex, where we see Silu.
Yeah, because instead of saying subbing in Longest Banana for Team Charm, they said Longest Banana is playing Nat Dex.
You could say he got bananaed.
But he didn't.
You're right. Longest Banana got eaten by Silu. Do seals eat bananas?
Probably not. They probably just eat fish.
Fishy bananas. Have the bananas be coated in fish. Then seals would probably win, not Silus. That would be weird. So, we have this game. We saw the Alamomola who poisoned the Kyurem after surviving its freeze dry, while Clefable survived Cinderace's gunk shot to knock off its heavy duty boots. However, the latter actually managed to swap hazards with Court Change at turn 10. while Corviknight was sacked to Goldango. Then we saw the turn 23 predict kill, where the Zamazenta managed to catch the Landorus switching in, then Zamazenta killing it with Ice Fang, while Goldango managed to kill the Slowking Galar with a crit Stellium Z, beating it on turn 27. While Alamomola dodged a gunk shot to flip turn and kill Cinderace 2 turns later. Zamazenta then finished off Garganacl, doing a monstrous attack with CC, and defeated Kyurem as well, winning the game for Zilu.
Yeah, this is the one where Urshifu just kind of went in, right? Or, am I thinking of something else?
You said Urshifu? Lol. There's no Urshifu
Zamazenta?
here. Zamazenta. Zamazenta did just come in. It beat the Landers by catching the Ice Fang. And then, the Enza beat Garganacl, beat Kyurem. Yeah.
Right.
So that was that. So next up, the next series we're going to talk about is... Wow. The Roaring Sailor Moon defeating Scream 8-3. Yes, not a complete 8-4 or a 9-3. Because one dead gamed.
Yeah, because they suck.
Wow. Or they just didn't want to play.
They didn't want to play because they suck.
Wow. Alright. So
this isn't even insulting their playing skill. Like, they just didn't want to play because, they suck.
Wow. How blunt. This is who I'm co-hosting with. Very blunt. Alright. Next. So first off, we have the Ubers game between Skyu and Zyote. So, this wasn't a very, notes-heavy game as well. We saw the Ribombee set up webs while Gliscor managed to poison the Chien-Pao, who died to Ho-Oh's Brave Bird by turn 9, while Blissey managed to stall Eternatus and Calm Minded, proving itself to be quite the unkillable little blob, and defeated Koraidon. Or not defeated Koraidon, it was the Koraidon failing to kill the Gliscor by turn 18, doing close combat instead of, I don't know, friggin' Skill Shot or Flare Blitz.
Oh yeah, you just made me remember how Zyote was not very good at calling the correct moves here.
Yeah, turn 18. He instead went for CC when he could have done maybe Scale Shot or Flare Blitz. Got Toxic, but as punishment. So, but he did manage to kill it 2 turns later, though, with a crit Scale Shot. One of those Scale Shots actually critting the thing. Then on turn 22, we saw the Terra Electric Zacian crit killing the Ho-Oh as Blissey stalled and killed Ribombee, while Arceus beat Lunala, then defeating Eternatus at the end for Skyu to win. One who was under webs actually won. Any other thoughts?
I still really wonder why he close combated the Gliscor, because, what switching are you trying to call it? What switch
Blissey?
are you trying to call there?
Not Blissey.
Or are you trying to call a Terra?
That's probably it. He was probably trying to call the Terra normal Gliscor.
Is that what Terra it is?
I don't know. I've been seeing that Terra normal Gliscor a lot in Uber.
Yeah, that's when it's Sword Stance with Facade, Mikoi.
Right. But no, this is bulky.
That's not that's not a common set in Ubers.
Yeah, but this is bulky ass Gliscor, not the hyper offensive Gliscor.
Oh yeah, and another thing that I found really odd was how instead of just wild charging the Dondozo again and accepting just letting Zacian die to recoil, he switched it out.
Curious. Very curious as to why.
He switched it out, let Eternatus take a waterfall. He didn't even recover with the Eternatus. He switches Zacian back in and it dies.
I don't
Literally,
know.
what were you aiming to accomplish with that sequence?
I don't know. I don't know. You tell us. You tell us.
On top of that, why did Skyu... Actually, I guess it makes sense. I was about to ask, why did Skyu waterfall instead of, like, rest?
But...
Or something. Because, like, Zacian would have just died to recoil. You can take that chance to heal. But I realize it's fine, because it's not like Dondozo was really needed much anymore, I don't think.
Right.
Because the rest of the Mons here are special attackers, which Calm Mind Blissey handles.
Yep. You didn't really need Dondozo, because Blissey can just stall and wall them with Calm Mind.
Yeah, which, again, even more reason why I don't understand why Zoyo just switches out his Zacian, then sends it out like a turn later to die.
Makes it all the more mind-boggling, right?
Of course, it coming in a turn later to die, it dying when it comes in is just unavoidable since there's 2 layers of spikes, but why did he switch it out, is what I'm asking.
Why, indeed. It was very weird.
You accomplished nothing by doing that.
Why, indeed. It was very weird.
Like, even if it dies to recoil, you're getting damage done. That's progress.
Only in the mind of those who play. Alright, next up we have OU. Mata versus Irene. Or Ineffable. We're just gonna call her Irene. So, Mata set up webs with Araquanid. While Kyurem set up the sub and the Dragon Dance as Goldango Terra Ferried to chip Landorus before Iron Moth killed it on turn 22. Oh no, not 22, 12. Then we saw the the paralyzed Iron Moth, who got paralyzed to Dragonite's Underwave, who got full parade and encored on turn 15, and while Weavile did defeat the Iron Moth via beat up Weavile, as Raging Bolt defeated Kyurem before Goldango was sacked on turn 25. Then Great Tusk Wars happened, but Mata made kind of a crucial mistake here. Turn 31, where he head smashed the opposing Great Tusk, and it was that misclick that kind of just shifted the momentum quite a lot in Irene's favor, as Dragonite killed it with the Rocky Helmet, and Weavile and Great Tusk, or Terra-fighting Great Tusk, defeated the Raging Bolt, the Weavile, and then ultimately the Ogerpon to win Ineffable the game.
Mata is setting himself up for what looked to be a very promising comeback, with the Great Tusk being at
+5.
It has Puro Speed, it's at plus Yeah, +5, and then it did that.
They did that. They did that head smash. They did that head smash play, which it was bad. It was a bad misclick that just so happened to be at the wrong place, at the wrong time, and that forced.
Also, I can't help but wonder: was it really needed? Did Mana really need to set up to plus, to +5?
Yeah. I don't know if it's
because you let the thing take so much chip that it ended up dying to Rocky Helmet after your misclick.
Yeah. I don't know what was Mata trying to accomplish by going to +5.
I have to wonder if there are some calcs involved in wanting to go to +5.
There's probably a calc for it.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, head smash don't do jack against the Great Tusk. Going +6. Alright. So that was that. Next up was...
quite obviously it doesn't do jack. It's double resist.
I know. It's fighting end ground. Alright, next up was another travesty. Another very, very shitty OU game. Blidius versus Keshba. Well, here we go. The Garganackle killed the Ogerpon very prematurely early on at turn 7, leading to Tinglu taunting and killing the Garganackle in return via Earthquake. And then we saw a thing I didn't want to see is the frickin' Zapdos getting critted by the Ivy Cudgel on turn 15. Before killing it in return with U-turn, so that was good, but leaving Zapdos susceptible like that was bad. Then we saw turn 22, Zamazenta Terra Firing, defeating the Moltres, and just swept with Body Press. We've been seeing a lot of Zamazenta like sweeping everything with Body Press in BLT. This was no exception. And our thoughts?
I do agree that leaving Zapdos in that state was not great. Especially after it just lost its boots.
Yeah, so it can't basically come in now because you don't have a hazard remover. I mean, great that Zamazenta...
But it ended up being a fine sack.
Yeah, I mean, Zamazenta was able to come in, set up the Terrifier, set up the Iron Defense Body Press, and won. Alright.
Yep. It was over once that happened.
Alright, next up was Yuyu, where we saw the Fiend beat the Choice Bad Kyurem in, quite honestly, not much else to say. Not much else to say with this game, honestly. So, Clodsire survived the Sandy Shocks' Earth powers before killing it at turn 15. Then we saw the Cobalion managing to paralyze the Tornadus, while Toxapex poisoned the Mandibuzz. Conkeldurr eventually killing the Clodsire by turn 28. If you want to check out the poison, the Paraz, it was turn 17 where the Cobalion paralyzed, and turn 21 where the poisoning of the Mandibuzz happened. Then we saw turn 39, where the Toxapex managed to poison the Slowking, while Meowscarada removed Tornadus' heavy-duty boots before dying to its Bleak Wind Storm, while Toxapex died to Conkeldurr, who killed Tornadus with a Mach Punch, leaving only the Sand Team, the Sand Corps, for Choice Bag Kyurem. Cobalion ended up killing the Tyranitar with Body Press of all things. Defeating that, Excadrill was in a prime position to set up Terra Fairy, Rapid Spin, getting rid of the hazard, setting up that speed, killing the Conkeldurr, setting up the Swords Dance. It was in prime position to sweep until turn 51, where we saw the Excadrill get Scald Burned and killed in the end for Fiend to win.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Well, the burn cost it. I think CBK could definitely played better, but ultimately that burn was probably what cost it.
Yep, it did. Alright, next up we have RU. Just Franco versus Colored Name.
Okay, this one is funny to me because I didn't actually see the game until just earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing Colored Names complaining that he got hacked in this game. I watched the game today and I'm like,
where?
Excuse me, you're the one who got hacked? You're the one?
Yeah, where exactly did you get the hacks from, buddy, when you were
No, but there were points where he got a little unlucky, but like, I don't think you have any right to complain considering what happened to Franco in that game.
Franco got the short end of the stick. I told you this when I was watching this game live. I actually caught this game live. And yeah, I was complaining about the fact that you have no right to basically complain about hacks when Franco was getting freaking hacks himself by you in this game.
In worse ways, I'd argue.
In worse ways, definitely. We'll start off. Turn 9. We saw the freaking Breloom getting crit O-code by an Ice Beam Gastrodon.
Which I have to wonder. It makes sense that a crit on Breloom from Ice Beam from a Gastrodon would do a lot, but to kill it? Because it wasn't only a crit. You see, most of the time, a crit alone wouldn't actually kill it.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You see, it only kills on an absolute max roll crit.
How many %?
AKA 6.3% chance to kill with a crit.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you.
Are you?
Here, let me show you this calc. Here you go.
Look at that. What the frick? 84.5 to 100%, 6%, 6.3% chance to all go? Are you shitting me? This is crazy. You have no right to complain. You have no right to complain about fucking hacks that way. Franco got gypped hard with that turn. Later on, at turn 25, we saw the Jirachi, who trapped the Registeel via Psychic Noise, and Encore to only
Trapped?
Well, technically Psychic Noise trapped it from healing.
Yes, you see, that's called preventing it from healing. Trapping is a different mechanic in Pokemon game, in Pokemon battles, as you know.
I know, I just word things completely differently. So, we have Encored it to only doing Iron Defense, then got burned by the Weezing Galar later on. And then we saw turn 44, where the Gastrodon, once again showing why it's a menace, freaking crit kills the Mamoswine with Earth Power, while managing to, Slowbro managed to burn the Jirachi.
Say, I wonder what the chances of the crit Earth Power killing that Mamoswine was.
Oh no, are you gonna count that?
So the odds weren't heinous this time, but they weren't guaranteed either.
What's the chances?
This time, it's a 56.3% chance to OKO with a crit.
So a little better. So a little better than last time, but like, you know, at least it's more, I guess it was more favored for colored name, I guess.
Yes.
So that was that. So Scrafty, though, was burned and died to Zapdos Galar with a Brave Bird there on turn 51, I mean. And then,
you know, I'm willing to bet that part of the hacks colored name is complaining about, and I say hacks in quotes, is the fact that Scrafty wasn't activating its shed skin.
Yeah, that's probably what he meant.
Well, it wasn't only that, obviously, but I'm willing to bet that was part.
Well, we'll get to that, because we're here to talk about the Noivern, who kept Super Fanging Mons left, right, and center, until turn 70, where it missed a Draco Meteor, losing to Cyclizar and Zapdos Galar, killing the Gastrodon, until colored name eventually forfeited. Franco managed to pull off a win despite overwhelming odds stacked against him.
You know, the funny thing is, the only two Mons who died were the ones that were crit killed.
Which are the Mamo and the Breloom.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure it was, perhaps a combination of Scrafty not activating its shed skin and
the Draco Miss.
The Draco Miss. I'm sure it was mostly the Draco Miss.
But, like, that doesn't excuse the freaking earlier turns, okay? Franco got fucking gypped.
Yeah, in fact, I dare say that, hell, just the death of Breloom alone, those huts are much lower than missing a Draco Meteor.
Exactly. You can't complain. You just can't. Okay. Next up, we have NU. Estra versus Big Boy Tony. I think you predicted Tony to win, didn't you?
Yeah, after Estra's bad week.
So take that, woman. You should have gone with the basic option. Alright.
I still beat you in predict, so it's fine.
Shut up. So we have the turn. Oh no. Don't, again, avoid the chat if you can, please. It's cringe. Turn.
But I like reading it.
No, I don't know. People should stop celebrating freaking cringe hacks. Anyway, yeah.
I'm not celebrating it, I'm getting entertained by it.
I don't. Because I'm a grumpy old curmudgeon. So, turn 7.
Not that old.
Turn 7. We saw the Dreadnought Shell Smash, but the Dunsparce phased it out with a crit Dragon Tail, while Ninetales encored it, leading to Gastrodon killing Yuxi on turn 21. Finally, the chat was mod chatted after Wesley and George Bad Curum had their little beef off. So after Chinchino took itself out with Gastrodon, because it was Rocky Helmet Gastro, Dreadnought Terra Darked and set up again the Shell Smash. This time, Okoing the Dunsparce with Crunch, sweeping pretty much everything else for extra to win, even beating the Infernape with Crunch.
Yeah, that thing was beating literally everything, even if it was not very effective with Crunch. It ate Tony's whole team.
Yes, it did. Basically, Tony wasn't able to pick off like any like good momentum because that Dreadnought was in a rampage.
And I guess it was a fast Dreadnought because the presumably Scarf Infernape didn't outspeed it.
That's crazy if it's Scarf. That would be crazy.
I mean, probably was. Let's see. Yeah, it outsped Ninetales, which it shouldn't be able to do normally.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Alright. Anyway, next off, we have...
It ate his whole team.
Yeah.
So, that also means that this is a strong jaw Dreadnought.
It is yes, Crunch was, doing a lot, so it's definitely strong jaw.
The fact that he was only using Crunch and he was Terra Dark, he was definitely strong jaw.
Alright, next up we have PU. We saw Drip Legend versus Lore. It was a dead game. First dead game of the tour.
Yeah, like, why are they doing that? It's week 5. Differential matters.
Differential matters.
Why are you being lame?
Lame. Alright, LC. Let's move on now to LC. Envy versus Wesley, who was supposed to be what? It was supposed to be someone.
Iron Pikachu.
Right. Iron Pikachu ended up Wesley subbing in for Pika. And Envy won very handily too. So this game we saw Wesley setting up the hazards, nearly killing Gomora with Vullaby before dying to its power gem, while Alola Diglett killed the Gomora and outsped Wesley's own Diglett on turn 11 to kill it. So Envy getting the better half by defeating
the speed tie.
By defeating the speed tie. F it, we ball.
No, by winning the speed tie.
He defeated and win the speed tie. He did say fuck it, we ball, which, gotta commend the hustle, but he lost to it, so...
Gotta commend the extreme risk, yes.
Yeah, well, it did pay off. Sorry, Wesley. So, after Diglett died, Torchic then sped up and defeated Mienfoo before dying to poison against Wesley's Torchic, who lost to Vullaby by turn 19. In the end, it was Fungus Wars. It was always going to end up with Fungus Wars until Envy's defeated Wesley's, winning the game.
Well, I think that Fungus had no Aviolite because it was knocked off by a very good knockoff early on.
It was a very crucial knockoff that cost Wesley the Fungus Wars.
It was very easy to call knockoff, too, because, you're not going to stay in with a Diglett, and what better mon to send in than the one who can absorb the T-spikes, right?
Yep. The fungi mushroom. Alright, next up we have Twinkay versus Memedos in Monotype. Wow, wee wah. What is this type matchup again? Flying versus Steel. Okay, so we have this little game where we saw both players setting up the rocks. Archaludon set up the stamina, paralyzing the Skarmory, while Iron Shreds removed hazards and gained speed until Moltres Galar eventually killed it on turn 18. The Iron Shreds dying, Then Goldango then defeated Gliscor, while Gyarados set up D-Dance against Archaludon, then taunted it to set up some more. Then sacking the poor Skarmory on turn 32, while Goldango was sacked to Enamorus, while Heatran was able to kill Gyarados and crit Corviknight with a nasty lava plume on turn 40 to kill it later. Heatran then defeated Skarmory, while Enamorus used Healing Wish to fully heal Moltres Galar, who contended with Scizor and Heatran until Memedos forfeited. In a kind of a close game, to be honest.
I was thinking that the game was kind of lost when it did die.
Oh, okay. So you thought Skarmory was the final nail in the coffin for Memedos.
Well, because it doesn't die. It doesn't die to Bullet Punch. That's why.
Yeah, I could easily just tank its roostiness and just kill it with Brave Bird. Well, Moltres presumably takes care of the Heatran. That was nice. Next up, we have doubles. What was originally supposed to be Jadino Bambino versus Keanu VGC.
Yep.
Then it was double subbed, and now it became Bleehay versus Terracotta. Keanu was actually busy with Worlds. Regionals. I wish Keanu made Worlds.
He probably will.
He probably
just hasn't yet.
Well, he's probably made it by now. Hopefully, we'll get to see him actually do a regional well. Alright, so, yeah. Bleehay versus Terracotta. Which actually didn't manage to happen. Yeah. So, Gouging Fire. First time we're seeing it in quite a long time in doubles. Setting up the Howl. Allowing Ogerpon to crit kill Glamora. Again, the bullshit hacks hasn't stopped. As Terra set up hazards. While Tinglu Terra poisoned on turn 7. Whirlwinding Mons and killing Glamora with a nice stomping tantrum. After Ogerpon died on turn 13, we saw the Chien Pao killed the Incineroar as it was low. Iron Hands managing to set up the Swords Dance, while Chien Pao Terra Ghosted to block the Drain Punch, while Raging Bolt was sacked as Tinglu really struggled to kill the Gouging Fire. Leaving it at the hands of Sinistcha, or at least, Sinistcha and Iron Hands were left to hopefully get the task of it. Iron Hands, though, defeated the Chien Pao. Gouging Fire killed the Sinistcha as Rillaboom killed Iron Hands. Tinglu was left alone, dying to Ogerpon, and Bleehay won. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
Or Terracotta.
Yeah, I feel bad. Imagine being on the bad luck streak or losing streak in general that you've been on. Some thanks to luck, some thanks to just not playing well. And then when you're finally on the bench, chilling, taking a break from it all, you get called on to play one of the worst tiers imaginable.
In doubles. Poor Terra.
I don't hate doubles, but getting called on to play doubles when you don't play doubles is awful.
That's true. That's true. People have had to experience that before. It's bad. Real bad. Alright, next up, what was supposed to be Hammy versus Rafna. Hammy was gonna collect on Rafna because Hammy was on longer. And so it just changed, and so they had the mad scramble to find a sub, and fortunately they had Vaporeons available, so it ended up being Hammy versus Vape.
Well, not vape. That's something different.
Vape Niche. So, game 1, we saw Groudon being brought into freaking Ranbats, along with Slitherwing. That's a dangerous ass combination right there.
This whole game had Sunmons.
Yeah, and it was very bad. Well, we had a Wug Trio as well, but yeah, you're right. So Groudon managed to OHKO Grumpig on turn 9, as you saw, while Volbeat crit it before dying to its Heat Crash, letting Scovillain kill it in return. Actually, it wasn't Volbeat, it was Illumise. I messed up my bugs.
Silly you.
So, Scovillain managed to sub up and crit Charizard on turn 20 before dying to Clough's Shell Smash and tanked Wug Trio's Aqua Jet with Passo Berry at turn 25.
Passo Berry.
Passo?
Yeah. Passo.
I'm going to call it Passo because it's funnier.
That's terrible.
So, Passo Berry was able to tank that Aqua Jet from Wug Trio, managing to kill it on turn 25 until Terra Steel Slitherwing killed it. Then we saw the Zacian, who Terra fighting to beat Crabominable and Slitherwing for Vape Niche to win.
Why are you calling him that?
Because Vape Niche is what I want to call every Vaporeon now. Yeah, I don't want to think of the copy. I don't want to think of the copy pasta. Okay, let's avoid that.
So why are you calling it Vape Niche?
It's funny. I got no reason to.
What's the joke?
I got no reason to. Maybe vaping. I don't know. Don't vape. Don't vape, kids. So, game 2. We saw the Weirdeer paralyzing the Sandaconda before killing it, while Latias killed Samurott as Weirdeer eventually came back in to heal block the Lapras, before killing it with Body Slam. After the Weirdeer was sacked, we saw the Rampardos kill the Flygon with Zen Headbutt on turn 21, after it tried setting up a Dragon Dance, with Overquill critting Gastrodon to kill it. It wasn't a crit kill, it was a crit end kill. Turn 23. Spectrier eventually swept the endgame, Terra fighting against the Terra Steel Latias, OHKOing it, winning Hammy the game. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
And we saw game 3, where we saw Vape setting up the webs with Spidops, poisoning the Mandibuzz as Lantern paralyzed it and slacking consecutively with Thunderbolt. Very, very funny turns 5 and 6 there. 2 paralysis. Slacking later to the Iron Valiant. Well, no, the Spidops. The Spidops died to the thing. Whatever. Slacking died, and then Iron Valiant killed the Spidops in return. That's it. After Poliwrath then died to Peralpur, we saw turn 28, where we saw the Porygon Z crit the Slacking, killing it turns later, as Terra fighting Reuniclus then missed a Focus Blast against the Terra Steel Mandibuzz on turn 37. killing the Iron Valiant before losing to Yanmega, who swept until Sableye killed it. Then we saw the Porygon Z managing to trick the Sableye, leading to Mandibuzz defeating it, Hammy winning this very, very close game. A scuffed game, but a very close one. Any other thoughts?
Not really, nope.
Hammy successfully lobbying, well, he was lobbying for a act win, but he ended up winning like proper.
Crazy how in one of the games he won, Vaporeon's got 2 Thunderbolt paras in a row.
Right? I did mention that. Turns 5 and 6. We're crazy. Alright. Next up is National Dex. Seth versus Omar, which Seth won. We don't deny Seth anymore. I was going into this worried for Seth, but fortunately BLT has finally turned things around for him.
I wasn't really worried because Omar has been on a pretty nasty losing streak.
And it continued here. First off, we have turn 7 to thank, with Goldango getting a nasty crit kill from Ting Lu on turn 7. Under light screen, yes, but, you know, that was bad for Seth at first. Then we saw Omar's own Goldango defeated the setup sub-boosted Iron Crown. You know, defeating that at turn 14 before losing to Volcarona. Then we saw after the Zamazenta Okoing the Roaring Moon, Blaziken ended up setting up the Swords Dance and sweeping. Successfully using EQ against Slowking Galar, and Firium Z to beat the Zapdos on turn 21. Then finishing off the Zamazenta for Seth to win. Any other thoughts?
I can understand how Omar played his endgame. He sent out Zapdos because he figures that if it has Earthquake and Close Combat, its last move is Flare Blitz.
Yep.
So if he Flare Blitzes the Zapdos, and even if it dies, the Blaziken also dies.
Yep.
So then Zamazenta comes in. It has Stone Edge, so it can just one-shot Volcarona.
Yep.
Omar was playing to his outs, but alas, Firium Z had other ideas.
Firium Z saved Seth's butt and won him this game. Very, very well played.
I wouldn't say saved his butt. I would say it was a good team choice.
It was a good team choice.
Because it's not like he was on the ropes exactly.
Yeah, Blaziken was already on the tear. Alright, now for the final game, and quite possibly the silliest of all the series. The Primal Power Pangoros tying the Lavender Laprases.
Why do you say it that way?
Because it's how it was worded. It's a good. I like how I word things weirdly.
You mean pronounce things weirdly.
I like it. Alright, now first off, Vidiot versus Emoxu9 in Ubers. This was a long game, but there wasn't really anything much notable happening. I really only have 2, bullet points for this one. First off, the Alamomola Terraferrying early on, turn 6, while Hatrine paralyzed the Ho-Oh on turn 16, leading to the full Parade Kyogre the full para against Kyogre on turn 36, which kind of cost Ho-Oh to do any good damage or probably roost off and survive some hits. Who killed Ditto, then turns later with a nasty Thunder. Or Surf, sorry, Surf. Kyogre then killed Eternatus, then Vidiot's Arceus Ground, defeated Emoxus on turn 53, leading to the forfeit from Emoxu.
I don't like how Emoxu played at some points.
Really?
When Ditto came in and turned into the Lando, why did an earthquake? Did you think Lando was pressured to switch out by that?
Maybe.
Or perhaps the earthquake was predicting a potential Hattering switch in case it was going to use rocks.
Probably that would be the case.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, the moment I saw the matchup, I'm like, oh, I don't think he's winning this.
Yeah, Ditto
because
teams.
Kyogre kind of just goes in.
Yeah, Ditto teams aren't exactly like good to bring in when you got a nasty Kyogre.
Ditto teams are like anti-offense teams usually.
Yeah. So bringing in against
which Vidia did not bring offense.
Yeah, you kind of brought something more balanced, which, Ditto teams just kind of falter under.
Yes.
Alright.
And this one had a lot of weakness to Kyogre.
And lo and behold, Kyogre was a menace.
And lo and behold, it wasn't a choice Kyogre either, so that made things harder.
Exactly. It was bulky. Alright, next up was another bullshit game. This immediate bullshit turned into even more bullshit. Crying versus Nemose. Oh god.
Oh no.
I feel bad for poor Crying. Oh my god.
Was it so bad that it left crying?
Yes. 100% yes. First off, we saw the Kyurem, who critted the Tornadus on turn 1. That was only turn 1. But that's not all. Turn 2, we saw the Clefable freezing to its freeze dry.
I like how I'm watching this in real time as you say it.
But that's not all. After the Kyurem subs, we saw the King Gambit, Tornadus broke the substitute. Tornadus switched out to King Gambit, which Kyurem attacked with Freeze Dry. King Gambit gets frozen.
Oh, look at that. It did.
Why? Just constant hacks after hacks after hacks. Poor Crying was left speechless and crying.
Okay, you don't have to say that.
Well, okay, Crying actually pressed on, so I'm just making things over dramatic as they should be. But yeah.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, so we have the sub, Kyurem just being a massive asshole to Crying. Hatrin bounced off the Great Tusk's rocks on turn 32. So, very, very good switch in there by Nemose. Give credit to them. While Ogerpon killed it in return with the Ivy Cudgel. Then we saw turn 38. Zamazenta just wanting to beat this poor Clefable's ass. Defense dropped it with Crunch. And then close combat killed it. And then the rest just kinda died to freaking Zamazenta.
This game is almost as bad as Push versus Dunox that happened earlier.
Why must the good all-around players get fucked up by hacks?
Because BLT is bullshit.
That's right. BLT is the shortened version of the word bullshit. Bullshit 12.
Huh. Okay. I didn't think of that.
Alright. Next up, we have the other OU game. One Last Kiss beating Bacoa. How is it? How we get the trade-off, of One Last Kiss actually doing decently in BLT to just a multitude of bullshit happening.
That's what it takes, I guess.
That's what it takes. I don't know if I like this trade-off. I mean, good for One Last Kiss. I mean, absolutely amazing stuff from One Last Kiss. He proved himself as one of the best players of OU here. So we have...
Yeah, by being a Tours main.
Yeah, we beat a Tours main, and I'm glazing One Last Kiss a lot, but One Last Kiss is great, okay? You already know One Last Kiss is great. So
I know.
So, Custap Berry Hoopa was used. Custap Berry Hoopa.
Honestly, cool set. Cool bring from How Play Pokemon.
It is a very cool bring. And the fact, it was able to tank that Under Reflect from Melandris, who U-turned. It was nice. And it actually killed the Ogerpon.
Yeah.
Dying to Landorus, while Hatrin and King Gambit died in very quick succession. Then we saw the Terraghost Dragonite survive Blaziken Stone Edge on turn 17, killing it with Terra Blast until dying to Landorus's U-turn, while Zamazenta finished off Ogerpon and his own Zamazenta for One Last Kiss to win. A lot of Zamazenta finishes in these games.
Yep.
Zamazenta is just that broken of a Pokemon, man.
It's really good, yes.
Alright, next up we have Yo-Yo. 691 versus Zeri. Actually, this game was pretty good.
For once.
For what? In the silliest series of them all, we actually got a good game out of it. And this was it. It's a battle between two great Yuyu players. So, Deoxys managed to set up hazards before dying to Scizor, who Terra-Fired to tank Revavroom's Temper Flare to beat it, while Fezandipity used Beat Up to poison Greninja on turn 6. A nice Toxic Chain plus Beat Up strat managed to poison this Greninja. But this game...
I like how it hit 6 times, but it poisoned on the first hit.
It did. It also got a crit at one point, which is funny. Also, turn 8, this game wasn't without hacks, because turn 8, we did see a crit. But Meowscarada defeated Ogerpon, while Fezandipity was sacked, and Skarmory was killed to Iron Jugulis's Hurricane, who lost to Scizor after one turn confusion. One turn confusion happened, and Iron Jugulis died to a bullet punch.
Oh yeah, something I found interesting about the way 691 played is that they really were not taking any chances on confusion. If something got confused, unless it was like real low, like too low to come back in or something, unless that, it would just get switched out if it was confused.
Yeah, he got the hell out of Dodge. He wanted to protect his mons, and he was not taking any chances with the risk played for confusion. So we saw the Scaladirge defeat the Greninja, while Thunderous terraflying and set up the agility to beat everything else for Ziri to win. A very, very good last-minute clutch by Ziri.
Yep. The Gastrodon may have had 40% of its health left, but it was not enough to take a Terraflying Terrablast.
From a Thunderous Mega. Not Mega. That would have been absolutely...
Not Mega.
That would be absolutely be broken. But yes. Alright. Next up is...
Saint Mix and Mega.
Yeah, imagine if it was. Alright, next up is... RU. What was supposed to be... someone versus Kindy.
High naming is hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, WW. Yeah. Ended up Memphis Depay subbing in, and he won versus Kindy. So, we start off with Salamence surviving Lycanroc's Accelerock to beat it with Earthquake, before losing to Trick Room, Meteor Beam, Power Herb, Terra Water, DNC. I'm surprised I didn't say Mega, because that would be funny. Who killed Gastrodon, and even survived Raiko's Thunderbolt, being Terra Water. Turn 9, it survived on 1 to tank its Thunderbolt to set up the Trick Room again and defeat it with Moonblast before dying to Registeel. Then we saw Registeel defeat the Crawdaunt, then set up Iron...
Yeah, which was really stupid.
Why do you think it was stupid?
Why? You see this Trick Room up. There's a Registeel there. You have a full health Armarouge in the back. Why do you go Crawdaunt instead? A Registeel.
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what...
A Registeel that wouldn't invest any speed whatsoever and pretty naturally underspeed a Crawdaunt.
Maybe.
A Registeel that will almost always carry Body Press.
Almost, yeah, because it's Iron Defense Body Press.
A Registeel that probably can't hit an Armarouge that well, meaning perhaps free setup?
It was a free setup. It was a free setup.
And like, even if like, Umbreon then switches in, who cares? That's when you go Crawdaunt.
And that's when you kill it with a close combat.
Or I wouldn't say that. More like you can maybe set up with a Crawdaunt, or you can certainly do big damage on the Umbreon with Crabhammer, or do big damage with Crabhammer on the Weezing, which would probably switch in. Why would you go Crawdaunt there?
No idea.
Like, are you stupid?
Free sack.
I'm sorry, that's rude, but you have a goddamn Armarouge! It's right there!
It's a free sack, I guess. I don't know. He was the one who said
it isn't a sack! He sent it in for free! That's not a sack, that's stupidity! That's called a bad play!
Yikes. You're right. So, yeah. Once the Crawdaunt was sacked, setting up the Iron Defenses against the Gyarados, Gyarados tried to set up against it by using Dragon Dance, and which ultimately, after the fact that Umbreon had to contend with Armarouge before getting killed by the Gyarados, Poisoned though by wheezing at turn 23, resting it off, resto chesto, only to get burned instead by Will-O-Wisp. Memphis to pay, proving itself well. And then Registeel ultimately Terra Ghosted, setting up Iron Defense again, beating the Mousehold, beating the Gyarados, winning the game.
Oh yeah, that was another really stupid play. You wanna know what I'm referring to?
Was it the switch out on turn 26?
Turn 25 through 26. Okay, so Registeel, it Terra Ghosts, it sets up Iron Defense. Okay. So I have a question. Why would you send in Mousehold the turn after that?
Probably it was expecting to go rest or something. I don't know. It was like a free tidy up, like a free tidy up, and then a free bite, I guess. I don't know.
Like, you got Mousehold the turn before that, not after. That's suicidal for the poor mouse family.
And the mouse family ultimately getting squashed by a Registeel. A Terra Ghost Registeel at that. And yeah. Gyarados wasn't able to come off the rest talks. And Memphis Depay ultimately and easily won over Kindy.
Like, yeah, he's not gonna body press you. He's gonna Terra and an Iron Defense. So,
yeah. I wasn't wrong in saying earlier that we would have things to vent. I didn't expect it would be this game that you would vent.
Yeah, Kindy didn't play this well.
He really didn't. No, Memphis Depay kind of outplayed Kindy. Alright, next up with Enyu, where we saw Diamond's Realm defeat Django. So, Enyu. So, this was an interesting game, a very long one, because it had a particular mon that just wouldn't go away. These two blobs in the front right here. So, starting off, of course, we had Heracross defeating Gligar early with Facade. Then, we saw the first instance of the Makalola Curse Wars, while Terra Ground Porygon Z managed to kill the Kaparaja by turn 13. Then we saw the Porygon killing Kilowattrel, and after that, dying to the Terra Psychic Monkey Dory. Gastrodon survived Flamigo's Brave Bird at turn 17, healing itself, while Vaporeon defeated Heracross on turn 22. And then we get to the really, really annoying turn that lasted so freaking long. The Makalola Curse Wars, my god! This lasted...
You thought Fungus Wars were bad.
Makalola Curse Wars! My god, this lasted for nearly 50 plus turns, or even 60 plus turns if you're counting. This lasted until turn 91. Where...
And when did it start?
Turn friggin' 31?
Oh.
60 whole turns of Makalola flaunting its face, being a gelatinous blob, just curse resting, knock off, curse resting, sleep talk, until it ran out of rest, and Diamond's Realm was able to beat Django's before sacking the Gastrodon ultimately, while Bronzong Heal Block stalled to defeat it with Body Press, before killing with Monkey Dory by the end, and Diamond's Realm winning.
Yeah, that's why I fell asleep watching this game.
Was it Muck Wars?
Yes.
I like Makalola. It's a great mon to play in-game Gen 7, but not for this long. Alright, next up was very brief. We have Suzuka versus Tyranitar in PU. It was Sun, Pokeart. The Sun that you like.
Yep. Overwhelmingly powerful Sun.
So, Mesprit managed to set up the Sun. Tanking, of course, the Typhlosion's eruption.
Here comes the sun. Do 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 do.
So, before Charizard ultimately OHKO'd the Typhlosion Hisui with Weather Ball, before dying to Rhydon Stone Edge. Rhydon successfully tanking one on turn 4.
Barely.
Very barely, but it's still a thing.
I have to wonder if that was perhaps a roll.
I would think it was probably a roll. It didn't kill, which is the surprising part.
Right. Hey, it actually did have a shot at one-shotting.
Really?
Yep.
What was it?
It wasn't too high, though.
What are the chances?
12.5% chance to OKO.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna hit that, I would think.
Though if he Terrafired, it was a surefire kill.
Yeah, I would think so too. So Brute Bonnet killed Rhydon and Cramorant as Volbeat ended up, I got the correct bug this time, set up the Sunny Day to allow Venusaur to come in and sweep with, set up with Growth and then sweep with Weather Ball OHKOing the Berserker until Tyranitar lost to Timer. Second Timer loss.
Yeah.
I mean,
he lost anyway, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna win.
It's not quite as... It's kind of saddening for Sea Life, though, because he was likely gonna win from that position.
Yeah, but unlike here, where it was a surefire Suzuka win. Because Venusaur was well set up, had the growth, had the sludge bomb, it was gonna win. Next up, we have LC. The Mimo Teemo won against the Sand Guy. So, Mean Fu Wars were at the beginning, knocked each other's Eviolite off, while Mudbray and Chespin set up hazards. And then we saw something funny, at least for me. It was the turn 13, where Chespin was brought in to block Marini's sludge bomb because it had bulletproof.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of Chespin.
Yeah, it was able to switch in safely. But what was not fun was turn 14, where it got Ice Beam critted. And before Gothita ultimately killed it with Terra Blast. Then we saw Glamette kill Vullaby, and Marini Wars then happened, but it was not as egregious as the freaking Muck Wars that we saw. Turn 31, we saw a freeze happen with or turn 30, excuse me. Teemo freezing Sens with Ice Beam, Gothita set up, swept with Stored Power and Terra Steel, Terra Blast, winning the game for the Mimo Teemo. Any other thoughts?
It was funny how that ended, considering there was no fungus on either side, and yet the anti-fungus goth set still won.
It was able to win very handily. Very, very well.
I have to wonder.
What?
I find it funny that Zen didn't try to sucker punch the goth, but I have to wonder how much speed the Torchic had, because I understand trying to get the double protect, but is there a chance that you just speed tie?
Probably. That would be really funny.
I mean, both have a max speed of 15, so... And I imagine both here are running max speed, because why wouldn't they?
Yep. So, if in any case that would have happened...
Technically, the odds of winning a speed tie are higher than getting another protect. So statistically, I think just going for it may have been better.
Probably, yeah. Probably just gonna go for the attack, go for a fire blast, and possibly kill the Gothita. That probably would have been better situated.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have Monotype. It was Tare defeating Siphicon. Ground versus the Wagon. So, we have, of course, Tare. We gotta talk about Gravity. Gravity, Landorus.
Do you believe in gravity?
But what wasn't amazing is the freaking freeze on turn 5. The Latios freezing the poor Clodsire.
Not the Claude.
Leading to Excadrill, using Earthquake to beat Latios and gain revenge for the poor Claude.
Did you just say...
Latias.
Oh.
Latias. It had gravity up. It had gravity up. So, Mamoswine defeated the, going back. Hold on, I need to catch my breath. Mamoswine then beat the Gudra Hisui. Clodsire was then sacked to Walking Wake, allowing Excadrill to come in and Oko Dragapult, while Garchomp was sacked before Excadrill kind of misfired an Earthquake on turn 18 because Latios had Levitate, while Latios died eventually to a Focus Blast Landorus. After Excadrill died, Mamoswine was left to kill Archaludon and Ice Shard Walking Wake for Tare to win.
I feel like you're not talking about how Tare called a lot of things Siphy was gonna do and out-predicted and outplayed.
You explain them because I didn't notice them.
Well, let's start when he killed the Dragapult. Are you wondering why Siphy switched that in?
Probably it's to set up because it was expecting Drill to switch out.
No, because it was expecting Excadrill to Rapid Spin.
Spin blocking. You're right.
Yes, the intent was spin blocking. Although, I think Siphy probably should have figured that that's not really its purpose here.
It's meant to be the great revenge killing machine. It's probably choice banded. Yeah, it's probably choice banded.
Yeah, the insane amount of damage would dictate it so.
It Oko'd clean. It was a clean Oko.
And it nearly OHKO'd a Latias from full. That should tell you everything.
Yep. Any other thoughts of the Tare predicting and out-predicting?
The end game was also well navigated by them. So Mamoswine comes in on the low health Walking Wake. You would think that because Walking Wake outspeeds Mamoswine, it's gonna Ice Shard, yeah?
Yeah.
Thing is, it's actually kind of bad if Ice Shard goes into Archaludon.
Yep.
Because then it'll get a defense boost, and Mamoswine might miss the kill on it, or worse, Archaludon will outspeed it and kill it.
Wait, the Draco. Or a Flash Cannon.
And then that would leave poor Landorus to not be able to win against the Walking Wake.
Yep.
So things could very easily headed south if Tare got this wrong.
But unfortunately,
But he called the switch into Archaludon, earthquaked, and killed it. And then back in came the Walking Wake. Ice Shard dead.
Yeah, so well navigated.
This is why Sippy said, "Damn, GG."
Yeah, it was. It was a very, very well played. It was a very, very well played set of turns from Tare, and yeah, very commendable. Very commendable. Even Siffy had to say, "Damn." All right. Next up, so we went from that. We went from a well played monotype game where the players were evenly matched, and it took one person basically outwitting the other to win, right?
Yes.
Then we come to bullshit. Then we come to the bullshit Critty Hacks game. 5'5" versus Icy Penguin in doubles OU. Oh my god, I wanted to die after this one.
Sounds like Piyush.
No, Piyush, it's different. This game ultimately made me want to die. Man, the amount of bullshit that happened was astronomically bad. So...
Again, like what happened to Piyush earlier today.
We'll talk about that later. So, 5's Glamora missed Meteor Beam early on, missing the it was targeting the Glamora. It missed the Glamora, leading to Icy's killing it in return. And then we saw the Terrawater Ogerpon crit killing this mother friggin' actually no, it actually was Sash. It was Sash, Glamora, and Sash Jinpao. Huh, excuse me? Okay, anyway, turn 4, we saw the friggin' Ogerpon dying to a sludge bomb from Glamora.
A sludge bomb crit.
But if you thought that was over, oh no, it's not. Oh no, it's not. Then we saw turn 7, a crit Ice Spinner OHKOing the fuck out of the Ogerpon. And then
both Ogerpons got crit this game, dude.
They both died to crit. But that's not all. Tornadus was sacked to rocks, right? Landorus then crit OHKO'd the frick out of Rillaboom. Terra Grass Rillaboom at that, with Sludge Bomb on turn 9.
And in the same
turn, Dragonite revenge killed by critting and killing the Landorus with Dragon Claw. And then we saw the Dragonite kill the Chien Pao, while Iron Hands managed to defeat Dragonite in the end for Ma friggin' 5-5 to win. How the fuck did he win? This was stupid.
How the hell did? No, you shouldn't be asking how did he win. Can we even say who would have won?
It was that unpredictable.
Oh yeah. And there was something you forgot to mention, by the way.
What? After all the multitude of bullshit, there's something I forgot to mention.
Iron Hands lived on a roll.
Are you? Oh, that's right. He did freaking post this calc. The mineral.
Yep.
Fuck this game, man.
This is why I think a lot of people may hate doubles, because it's like twice the amount of hacks in half the amount of turns.
It's bullshit.
Compared to singles.
It's bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. Alright. Final penultimate game. Final penultimate. That's an oxymoron. The penultimate game, we saw JJ09 Lee defeat Samjo. We were so excited. To see Samjo in the BLT after so many years. And credit to him, he did win game 1. So, game 1, we saw him, we saw the Mian Xiao kill the Dondozo early on, with Frostlass coming to chip most of JJ's mines with Poltergeist before Ambipom killed Golduck on turn 13. So I found it very interesting that, JJ was just allowing, again, just like the Mikey-mon game. Why was JJ, allowing Frostlass to get in free chip? I didn't like that.
Let's see.
What was he expecting? Triple Axel? Start at turn 6.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, it's a little difficult because Frostlass is really fast.
I mean, it's in the name, Frostlass.
No.
Shortened version, fast.
No.
Anyway, continue.
Well, as I was just saying, sometimes you have to navigate your switches a little.
It is pretty difficult. So yeah, Ambipom killed Golduck. Frostlass came back to beat the Roaring Moon with Triple Axle until Pikachu Terra Watered to beat the Luxray, while Mian Xiao killed the Sylveon before losing to Frostlass. Pikachu finishing off the Solgaleo for JJ to forfeit. So that was that. Then we saw game number 2, where we saw the Scrafty surviving a Deoxys Rocky Helmet, while Lantern paralyzed the Greedent, while Vespiquen missed a Toxic against Lycanroc on turn 11, while Love Disc hard switched into a close combat on turn 12. Love Disc. I said Love Disc, didn't I? Not the other way?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Why are you asking?
Okay, I'm afraid of saying Love Dick. Oh!
I wasn't even trying! Oh my gosh!
This is why we cut things out in the video. Alright, so turn 21, we saw Tinglu kill the Scrafty. Then Terra Steel to beat Sylveon, while Vespiquen was sacked to Lantern's Thunderbolt, who was tricked from Rotom's Scarf, but benefited off of it by killing it in return. So yeah, that Lantern actually benefited from the Rotom Scarf, the Trick Scarf from turn 27, and Lantern immediately Terra Flying, burning the Tinglu on turn 29, killing it right after, then beating Love Disc at the end for JJ to win. Any other thoughts?
Not really. This was well played.
Very well played. Very well played. Then, Game 3, where we saw the Terra Steel Dipling came into play before being paralyzed by Dedene's Nuzzle. Well, on turn 13, Slitherwing bulked up and survived the Psychic to kill Mew with Leech Life. That was very funny. Turn 13, the friggin' Slitherwing surviving the friggin' Psychic to kill the Mew with Leech Life. Slitherwing then killed Dipplin and Araquanid in succession, while Dedenne activated Galar Moltres' weakness policy, which killed it in return and swept Sam's team until Slitherwing killed it on turn 31, and Smeargle eventually came back in to kill the Slitherwing with the Spore and the Population Bomb to force JJ the win. Any other thoughts? Oh, crap. Alright, now we come to the final. Thankfully, it's very, 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 very short. Adrian versus Novax in National Dex, and it lasted about as long as it took for this whole sentence to come out. Gliscor poisoning the Zamazenta. Adri continued to set up screens as Hatcherin set up the Calm Mind and then swept everything until Novax eventually forfeited around turn 12.
Was it turn 12?
Yes, it was. It only lasted.
Yes, it was.
It only lasted 12 turns because that Hatcherin set was pretty unkillable.
Yeah, he was unable to break it. And, well, the things he had that could break it probably would have just died.
Yup. And that's very unfortunate for Novax, but good win for Adrian. Very good team choice from Adrian. Alright, we're finally rid of the bullshit week. Just announce who one predicts.
Okay, so the winner of predicts was, drumroll please. It'll do. Me.
Yay, golf clap. Golf clap, everyone.
I know. Such an honor.
Yeah.
Truly.
So, how many did you get?
24 out of 35.
That's good enough. Which is like, what, 60... Well, actually, no, not 60. Barely 70%, right?
No, it's 68.5.
Almost 70%. Never mind. I got how many?
You got 29 out of 47.
Which is like above 50%.
It's actually above 60%.
Oh, even better. Yay! And
the pick got third, but still did all right with 28 out of 47.
Just under 60%.
And just one less than you.
Why did all of us did well in this bullshit week?
Because I guess, even if a lot of it was through hacks, a lot of the games still went as we predicted.
Somehow. Alright, now let's proceed. So we have our eight combustible teams, and all of it, well, at least all of you got at least a win in your week, so good job there. But we pretty much have, I'd say we have a guaranteed top 3 teams that will move on to playoffs. It's you guys. No, not you guys. Rank first is the Charizards and the Pangoros because their differential was better at 10. Then third comes the Rufflets. I'd say you guys are in a pretty good position, along with, of course, the Charizards and the Pangoros, to be able to make playoffs.
This is true, but please do not say we're guaranteed.
We're not guaranteed. I'm not going to say you're guaranteed, because that would be jinxing.
Good, because Raj said we win this week, and well, we're currently 0-4.
This is why. So if anything goes wrong, blame Raj.
Yes, I am already blaming Raj.
So, I think all of the Rufflets are actually blaming Raj. But, yeah, everyone is at least in a good position. That's what I'll say. Because your differentials are great, and you're all doing well. Alright? Not this week, but hopefully you'll turn that around. Then we come to fourth and fifth. Then we come to fourth with the Jubilife Jirachis. So they're in a relatively safer position, but things can still turn around, and especially with the last 3 weeks being a real contention. Very critical weeks for week 5 and 6 are very, very, very critical now. So the rest of the teams, and that leaves the rest of the teams, the bottom 4 here of the Laprases, the Fidos, the Sailor Moons, and the Screams to pick up their pace and hopefully get that differential up so that they will be able to make that fourth playoff spot very nicely warm. I don't know how likely the Scream are, considering their differential is so bad, but the rest could probably make better. Actually, no. Maybe Scream could do much better. They have a shot here.
They'd probably have to win the remaining 3 weeks.
Which is, I don't know. Is it doable?
Also, the others would have to not win that many more weeks.
Yeah, they would need a very specific amount of circumstances, which will be touched upon once this week concludes. Now let's move on because I'm tired. I'm very angry and I'm tired.
I'm hungry.
You're hangry, okay? You're hangry. Alright.
No, I'm hungry. Who said I'm mad?
Well, that's you being mad without showing that you're mad.
I don't really get very mad easily, so...
But, considering where your week has started, I think you have every right to be mad.
I wouldn't call mad the right emotion.
What do you...
More like despaired.
Despaired. Poo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Alright, so week 5. Resort City Rufflets versus the Pillsbury Fido Boys. No, the Pillsbury Fido Boys. Yeah, you aren't starting off on the wrong foot, are you? You 4 games in, and y'all have lost them all.
Shut up. You don't have to remind me. I'm very well aware of the fact.
If the OP gets freaking updated, I have to say it. Hopefully, you will turn this around, including you, PokeArt, because you're in this starter lineup.
I know! That's part of why that makes it worse.
You have to pull in the effort, woman. So, let's start off.
And it's in one of the most volatile tiers of all.
it's what they call the baby tier, but also the worst tier. All right, so Resort City Rufflets versus the Fido Boys. Let's start off with Ubers. Skimmy the God versus Ainscrad, which Ainscrad won. Would I have picked Ainscrad to win? Honestly,
that's the question.
I would honestly pick Skimmy to win.
Oh, wow.
I honestly would.
See, I think that would be the good option if we did what we do like every week.
Yeah, I would have predicted Skimmy to win.
We didn't do that though.
Yeah, because we delayed the recording for a day later.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean in terms of prep. That is to say, we didn't prep.
You didn't prep. If you had prepped, you would have gotten a win. So yeah, I would have
possibly. I'd feel more confident that we would. Yes.
Yeah, I would have picked Skimmy to win. I really would have. I mean, Ains is good, and I'm curious to see how he won this one. But yeah, I have to wonder no more, I guess. Next up is the other OU game. Although the first of our two OU games. Maverick Shooters versus Tenebricide. A matchup I was really looking forward to seeing until it happened. And the game really sucked.
Yeah, Mav's kind of ass sometimes.
How honest. How honest are you, woman?
I'm just saying what everyone in my team has already said.
You're just echoing that statement. I know you're just echoing that sentiment, but man, it's so weird to see Mav get shit upon. So, 10%. I would have picked 10%. Honestly, I would have.
What?
I would have picked.
Okay.
I would have picked 10% as like sort of my betting man instinct, but like once the game actually played out. Yeah. I was more than convinced. 10%.
Do you know what team he used?
I do know what team he used.
It wasn't even for the memes. He wasn't even aware of the meme.
Mav keeps losing to that same damn team every
He didn't lose to it last week.
He gotten over it. Yet he still lost to it.
Well, you see, this time it wasn't a good MU.
Sigh, Maverick Shooters. Try to have at least that one backup team when it's time for your BLT games. Just have that preparation, okay? The other OU game, finally a thing I can actually predict for, Mikey Mon versus Pixel Bob. So, listen, I like Pixel Bob's hustle in OU. He's trying to get at least some sort of, like, good boy brownie points in order for everyone to see that, hey, he can contend in OU. It's just that the tier itself is filled to the brim with people who have played a lot of OU, are very experienced in it, and are better at it.
Dang, I thought you were about to say that the tier hates him.
Yeah, the tier also yes. That is factually correct as well. The tier just hates Pixel Bob. And I don't think he's going to get my predict here yet. Yes, I'm going for Mikey Mon. Even though he did lose to Hacker, and yes, he did, questionably play that early game on the first few turns of that game versus Hacker, I would still think Mikey Mon, he could improve. He can definitely improve in this one, and I think he might be doing this right. So I'm going Mikey Mon to win. And no, not because I'm pitying your team. I know, not because I'm pitying your team. I actually do think Mikey Mon would actually beat Pixel Bob.
Yeah, maybe this will be the first win our OU2 slot gets.
Are you really winless in this in OU2?
Yes. Yes, we are.
That's very, very funny. What does Pick say?
Oh yeah. So the pick has picked Ainscrad, Tenebrasite, but it also picked Mikey Mon.
Alright, so it's actually taking your side. Next up is Yuyu. Piyush versus Dunox. KMS, poor Piyush. Really, I feel real bad for Piyush.
Wait till you actually see the game.
I saw your chat, and I was like, what the fuck happened? I am very curious.
Everything happened! That's the issue!
Everything happened all at once.
Everything that could go wrong did!
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And poor Piyush had to...
somehow Dunox still managed to almost lose it.
He choked? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
He won with Terra.
Okay.
None of the other luck he got actually got his win in the end. It was Terra. He somehow managed to almost lose it even when he got literally everything.
He almost choked.
Including matchup, I think.
He almost choked. That's the worst part. He almost choked this. Oh my god. Now I'm very curious on seeing this game.
In fact, technically, if Piyush chose a different move, I'm pretty sure we won.
Ouch! That came down to that?
It was sort of playing a game of Guess the Terra, unfortunately.
Ah, okay. I'm very curious now on checking this game, huh?
No, it's going to make you feel despair, I'm afraid.
I was gonna go for Piyush all the way because I think Piyush is a stronger player, but like, yeah.
He is, quite clearly, in this game.
Give credit for Piyush to look strong in defeat.
Bro played while he was tired, too.
Again, bro's just a Giga Chad, alright? Bro's just a big Giga Chad. So, yeah, good. Would pick the same?
Yes.
Maybe it was Pick. Maybe it was Pick that cursed him, okay?
I'm only doing these now. It could have cursed him then.
You had all the ample time to do it earlier before we start, but okay, fine.
There's no harm in doing it now.
I know. Are you? They switched around their lineups a lot here. And somehow it's working. So, the Franklin versus Taking Notes, kinda.
Already know who you're going for.
Yep. I don't think TNK is gonna beat Artist9. I really don't. I think it's gonna be Artist9 win.
I should think so.
Unless he gets fucked over. That's the only way I could see them losing. Is if he gets fucked over. So who?
Well, given our luck right now, that wouldn't surprise me either.
So who did Pick say?
It says Taking Notes, kinda.
Oh, it knows something I don't. Frick.
I swear to God.
NU Acid versus Shenjaneer, a highlight match. It's a really, really good match between two very strong NU players.
And this is gonna be unpredictable, I think.
It's very unpredictable. I mean, I had a hard time like picking and choosing between these two. Ultimately, though, it came down to who performed better throughout the whole tour, and I gotta say, man, Shenjaneer's been killing it.
I know. He's like 4-0, right?
Yep. I think he's undefeated, yeah.
The pick says acid, though.
Okay. It's going to be a very close fight, but I think Shinjinir will pull it off. Alright, next up is PU. Not the man, the tier. Wesh Papillon versus Esteban. Pap has had a very up and down BLT. Mostly down, I think. Because, even though he did gain some wins.
BLT 2-2?
Yeah, even though he did gain some wins. I mean, his BLT experience, the sort of plays that the sort of playing that he does, well, they have some pretty high highs. There are also some really low lows. So, I mean, Esteban is the traditionalist PU guy. I think I'm gonna go with them. Sorry, Pap. I know I know you're trying to, better yourself from being freed off of LC jail, but you're facing off against Esteban, who's a traditionalist PU guy. I don't think he'll win.
He beat Tyranitar.
He did, but hopefully he'll surprise me. What does Pick say?
It agrees with you.
LC. So you took the bullet. You had to place yourself in LC jail.
I was okay with that.
Poker 2004 versus Stories, who is 0-4. 0-4 in RU and RU. So trying out a different tier. But to be honest, still picking Stories. I'm sorry. I know. Like stories, dude. Listen.
At least the pick believes in me.
You got Pap support. You got Pew support. I'm rooting for you, dude. I'm rooting for you. Alright, Monotype. Rio Vidal versus Royal Reloaded. Really, Maroon? Really, Maroon? You had to lose?
Mikey.
What?
Maroon got hacked.
You had to lose to Hacks, Maroon? Are you kidding me?
No, I am not kidding you. I wouldn't sound so heated over it if I was, now would I?
I didn't see this game, but I know from your comments you were not very pleased.
Oh, no one was. We lost to a 30%.
Oh my gosh. Who would I have picked? Honestly, I'm seeing a lot of weakness in Maroon. I'm honestly seeing a lot of weakness in Maroon lately. I would have picked Royal.
Yeah, and that weakness is called not getting a good type matchup at all lately.
Well, even that, I mean, his plays. I mean, his plays when he actually got the type disadvantage to work in his favor, that's the Maroon I know. But lately, it's just been, kind of hard. It's kind of hard seeing Maroon's games in a good light.
Okay, well, last week, he was facing someone incredibly unpredictable.
Japo, yo.
That guy joined Showdown like 2 months ago, Mikey.
That's funny. That's real funny. He was able to beat the GOAT, so good for him.
With a good matchup, yes.
But here, week 5, we're losing to Hacks. You know what? Okay. I would have picked Roy. I would have picked Maroon. Excuse me. I would have picked Maroon to win. But, it was just... I'm seeing a lot of weakness. I'm seeing vulnerability from Maroon. Alright.
Yeah, that sort of thing tends to happen.
Doubles OU.
When you can't get a good matchup for shit.
Yeah. Oh, well, doubles OU. Luisin versus Sea Life. Good matchup. I like both these players, and I like both how they've played doubles so far.
Not gonna lie, I think you should go through this a little faster. This is really slow.
I know. This one's unpredictable as frick. I think I'm going Sea Life.
How dare you?
Sorry.
How dare you disregard what's happening in the kitchen right now?
Well, you cooking? You might be cooking. All right, Ranbats.
The pig believes in Luisin.
Well, hopefully he delivers. All right, so Ranbats. MG versus Zuzawawa in Rands. Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Never doubt MG. He's winning.
Good. I'm glad we agree.
Never doubt MG. Never doubt MG. You scout him. You scout for him, okay? In Rands.
If I remember, sure.
Alright. Next up is a highlight match. Tempo de Angoria versus Cielo. I like this. Both players are really good in national decks, and they've had a positive record. It's going pretty good. I'm predicting an upset. I'm going Tempo de Angoria.
Oh!
Yep.
I appreciate the support.
I want to see Cielo's show weakness. And I think Tempo's the guy to do it.
Well, the pick agrees.
Yeah. Alright, next up is the Cinnabar Charizards versus Scream. Kind of an interesting one. I mean, Scream needs these wins while Charizards are just sitting pretty at the top spot. So let's go through them. Zoe Cafe.
Yeah, if Scream doesn't win this week, I don't think they can still make it.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for Scream to win, get an opportunity there. So, Cinnabar versus Scream. First up, we have Ubers, Zoe Cafe versus Zyote. This one is fun. However, Zoe Cafe has been showing up a lot more. So, we're picking Zoe Cafe to win.
Yeah, I was also thinking of picking Zoe Cafe. The pick picks Zoe, though.
Interesting. OU, Hacker versus Irene. Or Inafable. Or Ina. Hacker's been showing up a lot. I mean, he's 4-0, I think, for a reason. Hacker to win.
Hacker, yeah.
Hacker to win.
Picks is Inafable.
Alright. The other OU game, we see Kaif versus Keshba. This one's close. I know both have struggled a lot in this pool, but you know, I think the more success rate has to go to Keshba. Kaif's been doing pretty well though. He has been looking good in defeat.
Has he?
Well, the only win was against El Cap, right?
So in other words, he's been doing terrible?
Wow! You're the one who said it.
Because wouldn't that mean he's 1-3?
You're the one who said it. I'm backing out from that. Keshba. Yeah, I'm going Keshba to win.
Yeah, if he's only won against El Cap, that means he's likely 1-3, so that's not doing good at all.
You're harsh, dude.
Hey, you're just lying, is all.
He's lying. Yuyu. Oh wait, what does pick say?
Cave.
Wow. Yuyu. Seraph versus Fiend. Actually, pretty good match.
Highlight, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm quite interested in seeing this. Who are you gonna go for?
Who are you gonna go for?
I know who you're gonna go for. I think you're going for Fiend, aren't you?
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking you would be the sort of girl who would pick the favorites here.
You think Fiend's the favorite?
Maybe. Well, I think a lot of people are. Actually, I think a lot of people are. So I'm picking the bet. I'm picking all against you. I'm going Seraph-Z.
Against me?
Are you going for Seraph-Z as well?
Yes.
We're both betting men.
I think performance-wise, Seraph-Z has had stronger performances.
Yes, they have. They have
against stronger opponents.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. I think Seraph-Z has had really good performances. I know people would well if people actually bothered to predict, I would think they would predict Fiend to win, but we're thinking Seraph will win. So who does Fix say?
It says Fiend.
Alright. Are you Ninja versus Franco? Highlight. Highlight.
Franco.
Yeah. As much as I like Ninja being slotted here, I think Franco's gonna win. Even despite being overwhelmingly hacked, Franco still managed to pull off a win. Franco to win. Does Pick agree?
Yes.
Good. And you, Dark Props versus Big Tony. How has Dark Props actually won a game?
Yeah. In RU.
Against?
Drip Legend.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I don't think they'll win against Big Tony though. I think Big Tony has had more experience and is going to.
You'd actually be surprised. Dark Probs, though. I don't know how long they've been playing overall. I can't claim they're more experienced in Mons than Tony. I don't know that for fact, but they play a lot of NU.
Would you say that this is their main tier?
Probably, yes. They play a lot of it.
Okay. It's going to be a big stage for them. Does Pick agree?
Pick agrees.
Alright. So PU. Druid versus Lore. Interesting one, this one. What could have been a highlight match ended up, it's apples to apples at this point. Druid.
I love that game.
Apples to apples. Druid, you're doing.
Yes, I agree.
Stronger player.
The pick doesn't, though.
Stronger player in PU in general. LC, we have the unluckiest of Loki Fan versus the Iron Pikachu.
I think we all know what we're picking here. Even if he is unlucky.
Yeah, even if he is unlucky, it's still Loki Fan. I think he'll win.
The pick doesn't, though.
Wow, it's a disagreeing bot. Next up is Monotype. Drizzle, back in his main tier, versus Mimdos.
Drizzle, to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, Drizzle is getting stronger and stronger in Monotype as we goes. He's gonna win.
Even though he didn't play it last week.
Those first 2 weeks where he did play, they're very good. They're very good Drizzle performances. So, Drizzle to win. Alright, next up, doubles. We have Pig Warrior versus Jadino Bambino.
I think I know what we're all going.
Yeah, as much as I like Jadino Bambino's play from that one game he played, it's honestly going to be Pig Warrior's day. I feel like it's finally time we give Pig Warrior some slack.
Hopefully.
Does Pig agree?
It does.
Yay. Lady Rider versus Rafna in Ranbats. Highlight.
Yes, but I still have a very clear answer.
Who are you going for?
Rafna.
Alright, I'm going Lady Rider.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
That's crazy.
both are even. Okay, it could really depend on who got the better team in the actual games. I think Lady Rider's just a bit better than Rafna in terms of skill. But I'm not going to be surprised if Rafna wins.
Okay. Interesting.
Alright, next up is...
The pick agrees with me, though.
Alright, so we have National Dex, Rahul versus Omar. Rahul
I think I know who you're going with.
Rahul finally lost the game versus Tempo, but yeah, he's gonna bounce back against Omar,
who has not won.
Who is currently in a bad losing streak. So, who does pick?
It picks Omar.
It's a contrarian. Roaring Sailor Moon versus the Power Pangies. The PPPs. Alright. Skyu versus Vidiot in Ubers.
Idiot.
Yeah. As much as I like Skyu, I mean this could be a low-key highlight match. But yeah, it's gonna be Vidiot who wins. 79-2 for the win. Does Pick agree?
It says Skyu.
Wow. Alright, Mata versus Crying in OU.
Crying.
Yeah, as much as we want, as much as, Mata choked last time. He could have had a dominant win last week, but he choked it with a misclick. Crying to win, even though Crying got the real short end of the stick last week. Does Pick agree?
No, it doesn't.
Damn it. This picks Mata. OU! Drip Legend versus Batty. Oh, God.
Drip Legend? Drip
Legend versus Batty.
Huh.
Oh, God. Is Batty Is Batty winless?
I think so, but...
I mean, in terms of better player, we're going Batty. We're going Batty all the way, but I'm just genuinely surprised Batty hasn't gotten a single win.
Look, the OU pool's pretty good.
It is. It's very, very stacked. So, it's really hard for Batty to pick up a win, but maybe he'll finally get one. Especially, does the Pangies need it? I think they need it to be top 1. Does Pick agree?
Pick does not agree.
My God.
Kind of going against most things we're saying as of the last few things.
Yeah. Yuyu. We have Blidius versus 691.
Do I need to say it?
Go ahead.
Oh, I need to say it?
Go ahead.
I thought that was the point. I thought the point was I didn't need to say it.
Go ahead.
Numbers.
Booyaka 691 indeed. Does Peg agree?
Yes.
Yay! Booyaka 691. Next
what
up...
What are you saying?
That's a reference. Alright, next up we have Are You? High naming is hard versus colored name.
Wow, both have names.
Both have names. One's just spelled incorrectly.
Yeah, one's dyslexic.
Wow. High naming is hard.
High naming is hard.
High naming is hard to win. Better are you player.
Yes.
And you. Actually, no. Does Pick agree?
Yes, it does.
Wow. Alright. And you. Estra versus Shawl.
I'm sorry, who?
I don't know either. But they have
Is this someone who's in the tour?
They are I think they are the replacement for the guy that got axed. Who is this man? Who is need? I don't know. They have a badge.
That doesn't really tell me anything.
They have a badge. Though, in all honesty, though, this is NU, so Estra?
Estra, I guess.
Estra.
Oh, cool on seeing Shao debut.
Shall debut?
Yes.
I don't know what that reference is.
That's not a reference. This is his debut week.
Oh, debut, not debut. Did you really mispronounce debut as debut?
I'm hungry. Okay.
Debut. Okay, fine.
First I said debate, then I said debut.
It's debut, woman. Silent.
I know it's debut.
Alright, PU. Bleehey versus Suzuka.
Do I need to say it? Because I don't think I do.
It's Suzuka. Listen, like, Tyranitar lost the timer, but Suzuka played well in their game, okay?
Suzuka was gonna win anyways. That didn't matter.
Yeah, Suzuka to win.
Oh yeah, the pick has said the pick picks Shao and Bleehee, by the way.
Wow. LC Envy versus Sen.
I don't think I need to say this either.
LC Circuit Champ. We're going Envy.
Yeah. We're all going Envy. Not even the pick can deny this.
Yeah. Monotype. Twinkie versus Memphis Depay. I like this.
Oh.
I like this one. This one's actually unpredictable. So, I have glazed Memphis Depay enough to hopefully convince you that he is a good player.
Seems like it, yeah.
I'm going Memphis Depay to win.
I'll agree, because, well, even if we're wrong, at least we're both wrong.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, again, hopefully I've shown you that Memphis Depay is a great player, and look at that. He's doing amazingly, I'd say, in BLT.
What's his record?
Like 3-1, I think. Check it.
I don't know about that.
Check it. He lost to.
He lost to, was it Mandos?
Oh.
Yeah. He lost to Mandos and Jack Cuzler.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's 2-2. Never mind, he's 2-2. So, I'm still going Memphis Depay, even though it's 2-2.
Yeah, I'll agree, and so will the pick.
Doubles are you. Choice Bad Kieran versus 5'5".
5'5".
Do we really need to say it? I'm the one who's gonna say it. Do we really need to say who wins here? Yes, 5'5" to win. No denying there. Who does pick say?
It says 5'5".
Everyone agrees. Ranbats, Hammy versus JJ. Quite the good matchup.
JJ, though.
Yeah. As much as Hammy impressed. As much as Hammy has impressed us, JJ should be able to win their game. Alright. Who's pick say?
The pick says... Wait, I haven't typed it in yet. It says JJ.
Alright, it says JJ. So we're all in agreement.
So we're all... Yeah, okay.
We're all in agreement. We're going JJ.
I'm dying.
And National Dex. Seth versus Adrian already happened. And Seth won. Would we have picked Seth?
Would we?
I wouldn't, to be honest. I would have picked Adrian.
I would have done that too.
Would have picked...
What?
Would have picked Seth to win?
Yes.
Wow. Alright. Finally, the last series. The Jubilite Jirachis, who are losing to the Lavender Lapraces. They are 0-3. Lapraces are making their comeback, y'all. Alright.
They weren't super down. I mean, sure, they hit a bit of a rough patch, but they were still tied for 5th.
Yeah. Oh, they are as they are, and you know they're you know, hopefully if they continue this and if they beat the Jirachis, they will have them be the number 4 team. All right, let's continue. Ice Master versus Emoksu. Ubers.
Ice Master.
Yeah. Never doubt the Master. There you go. We're picking Ice. Who does pick say?
Yes. The pick says Ice as well.
Alright. Next up is the first of our OU games. Stariel versus Nemose.
Surreal.
Yeah, Stariel's been doing pretty well for himself. We're going Star. Where's pick say?
It's saying Nemose.
Interesting. One Last Kiss versus the trio is broken in the other OU game. One Last Kiss won.
Just as I predicted.
Yeah! I'm confident in saying I would go for One Last Kiss. I was actually gonna predict that as sort of a betting man, but yeah, good for One Last Kiss on winning. Next up is Yuyu. Axe Lolo versus Ziri.
Ziri.
Yep. Never deny. People are still unconvinced that Ziri is good. Hopefully last week has proven you wrong.
Are they?
Hopefully last week has proven you wrong. Ziri's a goat. Just because
the pick says Hex Lolo, though.
Yikes. Are you Eevee versus Ampha? How lucky has Eevee been all tour? Honestly.
Quite.
He has been very lucky. Who are you picking?
I'd like to pick Ampha, but I'm scared.
Go with your gut. You're going Ampha, I'm going Eevee. I think the luck has substantially proven her to be on the... Surprisingly, having one of the better records in RU.
Look, in a clean game, I think Ampha, but...
It's Eevee, man. It's Eevee, man. What's pick say?
Pick says Eevee.
Wow.
Well, I am going Ampha.
Alright. NU. Enzo Nana versus Diamond's Realm. Should be fairly obvious, I presume.
Diamond's Realm?
Diamond's Realm, yeah.
Okay.
Pick says?
Enzo Nana.
Okay. PU. The Blood Ace versus the Battling Professor.
I forgot this guy was in the tour.
This was what? One of the first... Oh, he was in G-Pool, yeah. So what are we gonna say with TBP 24?
I don't know. What are you gonna say?
I don't know. Alright, who are you picking, okay?
I have no idea.
I mean, Blood Ace...
Who are you picking?
I don't know. I'm not very much a fan of Blood Ace's play this tour. I mean, they could pull off some pretty good wins here and there, but like, I'm not very that confident to pick for Blood Ace here. I think I'm going to the Battling Professor, even though I don't know much.
I'll go Blood Ace.
For familiarity's sake?
Yeah, I'm really not that familiar with the Battling Professor, even though I think he might have qualled in the cycle I did. I don't know. I don't really remember how he was.
Okay. LC! Oh, this one's an interesting matchup. Gawain versus Teemo. Battle of memes.
Woo.
Baldness versus Mimo. Who's winning?
I'll go Teemo, to be honest.
Yeah, you agree. You agree with me. I'm glad Teemo has been not no-joning, because we can actually, like, you know, think and
Predict.
Yeah, predict for safely. Yeah, Teemo to win. And Pick says.
Pick says Black Knight Gawain.
Alright, Monotype, Tare versus Jojen.
Ooh, tough.
Geomancy, huh? Geomancy being picked here.
Yeah.
The Tare game really impressed me last week against Ificon. I think they're gonna do another one here. I'm going Tare.
Yeah, true. It's kind of tough to say initially, but with a reminder of that game, yeah, Tare.
Tare. And Pick says.
The Pick says Geomancy.
Alright. Doubles OU, Icy Penguin versus Servolt Mike. This happened. I have not seen this one.
I don't think you want to.
I would have picked Mike, to be honest.
I probably would have picked Icy Penguin.
Really? Really?
Yeah, like I did last week.
Well, last week he didn't win. This week he did, so.
Yeah, but I was kind of feeling Icy Penguin from the get-go anyway.
Alright, I took the L there. What's Pick say?
It also said Servolt Mike, so you're not the only one taking an L here.
Oh, well, here we're definitely taking an L. Ranbats. Let's go to Shooto versus Prince of All Tacos. Which Pote won?
How did that happen?
How did that happen? We have a streak breaker. Losco's streak has been broken by the Potester.
Well, I would have picked Losco.
I also would have picked Losco.
So, I hear that Losco's luck may have run out.
Oof. Did Pote absorb all that luck?
I don't know about absorb. I don't think he absorbed it from Losco. He might have absorbed it from El Cap.
The bromance between Pote and El Cap continues. Let that ship sail. Alright, then the final game we have Longest Banana versus Nashrock.
Nashrock, to be honest.
I honestly would have picked Nashrock. And this is more of his wheelhouse. So, yeah, Nashrock to win. Who does pick?
Oh, so Longest Banana just doesn't seem that good, from what I've seen.
He did play once. He only has played once.
Yes, but I've seen him play other times.
And?
Seems mid.
Oof. Does Pick pick the mid one?
Pick picks Longest Banana, so yes.
Ouch. Well, that's the end of this 4-hour session of BLT 12. I got angry, I apologize, but, you know, the week kind of pissed me off, so it's very warranted. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you won't miss this video as it comes out. And we'll see you next week when we tackle Week 5 recap and Week 6 predictions. This has been Mikey, signing out.
Goodbye.